Hello, there it goes. See, I should have checked that before I went live, but I didn't. It's fine. I'm talking now. Hey, this is loud for me. It's music. I don't know if it's loud for you guys. It might be a little bit. Let me lower it. Okay. Oh, one more thing I gotta do before I get started here, alright? Oh, just chill out. Dun 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 dun. There. That's the other thing I need to do. Bring this back up. Maybe if I refresh it like that. There. Ooh, the music's going crazy. Really wish there weren't these little black bars at the top and bottom of the screen whenever I have like a window open. I need to figure that out one of these days, I really do. I don't know if it's just like my little taskbar down here, if I can do something with that. That's probably what prevents it from going like full on, full screen, you know? Yeah, I don't know. It's fine. We'll figure it out one of these days. So I said that I just wanted the stream to talk about a whole bunch of stuff that I've been wanting to talk about. So here we are. That's what I'm doing. Mainly going to be talking about the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, as you can see on my little search bar there. I've searched that up, but we're going to be going over more than just Nintendo Switch 2 stuff. I'll be talking about another thing I've been wanting to talk about pretty much ever since the beginning of this year, which is my favorite games from last year. I never really talked about that, so I want to do that. I'm just gonna say a disclaimer real quick for the first like little segment of this stream here. I have a script, and that's because like this could be a stream where I just like potentially make a bunch of videos off of it after. I want to see how that goes, right? If I like just stream all my content and then turn it into little videos. A lot of people do that, and see how that works out for me too. But I have so much to talk about that, and I've been working over or on it over the past couple days here, but still I haven't gotten everything in there, obviously. Like, again, basically first little part of this stream I'm gonna be talking about like the Nintendo Switch 2 in general, and then I'll go into Mario Kart. I have a script for all that, and then after that it's just gonna be me blabbing with no script whatsoever, notes or anything like that, just because again there's just so much to go over today. So it's gonna be a big stream where I just sit around and talk. So let's go ahead and begin. Let's talk about all the recent news that has been coming out of Nintendo here. I've kind of let the dust settle with all these different trailers and stuff that have come out between Nintendo Switch 2 Direct and then the Mario Kart World Direct. It's crazy to see how much things have changed over the past couple of months. Nintendo Switch 2 and the idea of a new Mario Kart game were some of the most anticipated things in gaming before they were officially announced. Like, people were clamoring so much for any information on Switch 2 and any games that were like being made at some point. Now we got it here, right? Got Mario Kart, we got a whole bunch of other games. I'll get into the other ones later. Now that all this new information is out, after months of waiting for these directs, I've seen so much negativity and vitriol towards the Nintendo Switch 2 and Mario Kart specifically. I think the other games they've announced aren't really catching the same negative reception that Mario Kart is getting. I think the obvious big reason is that Mario Kart World is $80. Nobody likes that. I figured that while watching Nintendo Switch 2 Direct and I saw all the specs, I was like, yeah, this thing might be like 500 buckaroos. And it ended up being 450, which is kind of like a middle line between the lowest and highest cost people were speculating. The Nintendo Switch 2 has some cool new functionalities, mainly that here, let me actually, before I start talking about this, right? Let's bring up the part where they're actually talking about stuff with the Nintendo Switch 2 and the hardware here. Why are there subtitles on? And they were like Spanish too. What the heck? Anyway, oh god, I'm gonna need like a marker. Figure out where I'm at with this giant freaking script. So yeah, Nintendo Switch 2 has some cool new functionalities, mainly that you can use the Joy-Cons as mice. That'll bring some new innovative ideas. You guys are about to see how much I can screw up on a script too. That will bring some new innovative ideas that only the Switch 2 can pull off. And I just like the fact that for shooting games, for example, I can use a mouse and then have another actual controller in my other hand instead of a keyboard, right? Like, I've never found keyboard buttons very comfortable, even when I get used to it for any particular game. So I just might have to get any shooter game that uses a mouse on my Switch 2 instead of getting them all on my PC. Because I just think, I don't know, I'm way more comfortable with just having like a joystick with my thumb and then actually using buttons and stuff instead of just trying to move around with a whole bunch of keyboard buttons. Back to my original talking point, alright? I think most people weren't super happy with the price of the Switch 2, but it wasn't the worst case scenario. I feel like people weren't going to riot over it, but then you take into the fact that the one and only launch title that isn't some tech demo anyway is $80 freaking dollars, and yeah, that's a big oof, alright? Mario Kart, it's a big deal. Everybody's been looking forward to it, but 80 bucks for any video game is pretty unprecedented. With Nintendo Switch 2 bundle becomes 50 bucks, but you're paying 500 bucks for the whole package, and I think that hurts no matter what. Before I even get into my thoughts on into Mario Kart World, spoiler, they are very positive. I do have to talk about what everybody else is talking about, right? Again, it's the price of $80. It sets a bad precedent in basically every single way. I honestly don't know what Nintendo's thinking here, right? I feel like Mario Kart World had a chance to get away with an $80 price tag without much happening, but no, it's getting a lot of backlash, and I'll get into why. But for now, let's just talk about the precedent this sets. Let's just say, for example, when GTA 6 really starts getting marketed, right? I feel like they will definitely price the game at $80 now. I think it was probably going to be 70, but I'm positive that'll be 80 now. Actually, I've heard all the rumors that they were thinking about making the game $100, and I always took that with a grain of salt because GTA 6's target audience is just not going to really be able to justify paying $100 for a video game. Like, I'm not saying they're poor and they can't afford things, but like, they are a casual audience for sure, and they are going to look at just this one game being $100 and see all the other ones being like 30 bucks less and say, yeah, I think I'm going to buy a cheaper one for little Jimmy, you know? They aren't going to be buying that. Let's go ahead and get this up real quick. Just for some variety while we're talking about Mario Kart stuff, kinda. It's not really going to be able to, I don't know, to really sell that way, in my opinion. But now that $80 is a thing, right? It's like, I don't know. I'm not too thrilled about it myself. I can confirm, by the way, that there's many mothers, grandmas, and aunts buying kids GTA 6 because they're too stupid to realize that there's things like, just naughty things. All right, let's just say that. Or they just don't care at all. That wouldn't shock me. We take a look at GTA 6, which will undeniably be a huge game That probably would be worth $80 if it does end up being more content rich than GTA 5, alright? Price there is probably justified, barring any, performance issues or anything like that that might screw up the game. But, $80 to me, it should be an exception, right? I just feel like if more games start adopting that $80 price tag just because they're like AAA games, that it could, just open the floodgates for, I don't know, for them to basically put prices on stuff that just isn't justifiable. I mainly worry about like sports games, for example. They appeal to a casual audience too, and they really don't care how much money they take from the consumer, They just leech as much as they can out of regular people who don't know any better. Games could end up being as costly as like $150 with DLC or special launch editions, and I just don't think that's healthy for the industry at all. I don't know, it just makes them less accessible to everybody, especially with people in other countries because their prices are inflated compared to some others. But if $80 becomes a new normal for AAA titles, then I think the casual audience will probably adjust over time. But I'm not saying they're just going to accept the higher prices. No, I think some of them probably might. They I don't know. What I see happening is that they'll probably just skip to the or they'll probably just stick to the games that are $60, which means that these new games and these new consoles aren't going to sell very well, right? People are just going to stick to the old stuff that's cheaper. Or people just buy the games later when they go on sale. Which, man, I feel like people wouldn't really be complaining about Mario Kart World's price so much if Nintendo actually did good sales on their games. You know that freaking Mario Kart World at most is gonna get like a $20 discount maybe twice a year, and it's still $60, dude. Like that doesn't even feel like a deal. So I guess $80 games don't really have to sell as well to make a decent profit, right? The extra $10 or $20 will add up. But I think the goal for these games is to sell very well regardless. I have no doubt that Mario Kart World and even Donkey Kong Bonanza are going to sell less than Mario Kart 8 and Mario Odyssey respectively. Like for sure they're going to sell less, but by how much is an interesting question. I think Mario Kart being the bundled in-game will help it for sure, at least at the start of the Switch 2's lifespan. Um, Let me see, I lost my place. I made a script so I wouldn't forget anything about this section for sure. Like, when it comes to the other games, I don't care as much, but I really care about Mario Kart, right? Um, it seems like the Mario Kart bundle will be in production until the fall. So, they might have a different bundle for Christmas, and that's where the sales of Mario Kart World might fall as well. Again, I feel like there's a certain section of the casual audience who gets World for $80 because they are willing to bite the bullet to get it as a gift, and there might be some who get Mario Kart 8 for the Switch 2 if they somehow didn't have it before. Like the biggest thing about Switch 2 is that these existing Switch 1 library is not getting replaced, so the popular games will still be on sale in stores, and there will be new Switch 1 versions of games coming out as late as next year, so I don't know how exactly they'll pivot if these price increases don't work out, but I think they have a chance to if need be at least. I think they'll want to make the focus be on the Switch 2 no matter what, but they might have to make some more new games available for Switch 1 than they want to. Because again, I mean, something actually has just recently came out, right? This isn't in the script, but something just recently came out where Nintendo's talked about how 2.2 million people have applied for pre-orders for Nintendo Switch 2, which is definitely a good sign. I mean, what? That's already take 2 divided by about 16. And yeah, that's like already 1/8 of the sales that the Nintendo Switch 1 has gotten, and the thing's not even out yet. That's 2.2 million people that are potentially committed to buying a Switch 2, which I think is cool, right? But then what people buy on the console itself, again, that's the question I'm wondering because People might be getting the Switch 2 because of, they wanted a Switch 1, but now they're seeing a Switch 2's coming out, so they're going to buy that. Um, People might be getting the Switch 2, obviously, just for like one specific game on um, coming out for Nintendo Switch 2, like any of the ones they've announced. Again, I don't know if Mario Kart's going to be a part of that because of the price, but I think, again, most people want that are probably just going to get the bundle, right? So it's a good sign. I mean, if that many bundles sell, man, then Mario Kart World's going to sell pretty well, all things considered, but it's going to be for the $50 price tag. Um, I just think it's going to be really interesting to see how it sells at $80 without being in a bundle, right? I don't know if we'll ever get those sales figures out of Nintendo, probably not. But let me find my place here again. Here we go. So, let me see. How can I bring this back now, actually? I think, the idea of buying a Nintendo Switch 2 and then, I don't know, just getting Switch 1 games or just staying with the Switch 1, it would kind of follow how lots of modern games still have like PS4 and Xbox One versions of games because nobody wants to buy new consoles. I think the reason why people don't buy PS5s or Series X's is because those consoles don't really have console selling exclusives. Nintendo never really has that problem, but it'll be interesting to see them potentially struggle regardless because of the insane prices on their games and accessories. Like, just over $100 for Joy-Cons is crazy, and yes, if you include taxes, at least for me, it's going to be well over $100. Those freaking things better not drip. Alright, that's all I'm going to say. I just think that all this stuff is crazy to watch and unfold because I think everybody came out of the Nintendo Directs with positive thoughts, and then prices came, and that's just curbed all that enthusiasm. Some people are still excited, but I understand the outrage. Like, ultimately for me, the prices of stuff does matter. I sympathize with the idea that for what developers do on the art side of things and the technical side of things, for what they're able to pull off nowadays, that they should be rewarded more for their work, right? We have an industry that is so indifferent to their employees. Layoffs have been a normal thing, and job security is just non-existent in the gaming industry. Nintendo feels like one of the only game companies where laying off employees would be like their last resort, but as a result, we got these crazy prices on things for them to just feel justified to make new premium hardware and software. It's not great. I think there are better ways of handling it, probably, but I don't know. Just because Nintendo has a strong, loyal player base, right? I feel like they can get away with it, but I don't know. Their recent prices and PR surrounding this stuff it's not been good. I don't know if it's going to really matter in the end because no matter what, sure, they got loyal consumers, but this stuff's starting to add up. You can just see it, right? There are other ways to get more money from a consumer besides just bumping up the price of your games, right? As I said before, most modern games offer special launch editions of games, which to me are usually never worth it, but there are options, right? Some developers guarantee paid DLC in the future or even have DLC from the start that you can buy, right? Usually, if it's at the start of the game, it's significant stuff like costumes for characters, I don't know. Nintendo could totally do stuff like that. Imagine if they sold some costumes at launch for Mario Kart World for $1 each, right? And then made the game $70 instead. There would be much less backlash, I feel, right? Like maybe some people would be mad that Nintendo's not making quote unquote complete games and jumping on the unsavory trends that have plagued modern gaming. For me, though, costumes are something that don't affect my gameplay, so I could buy them if I wanted to, and that's that. It doesn't really change my perception on the quality of the game in any way. So if they wanted to sell something like that straight away, that's fine by me. I still feel like there would be plenty of unlockable costumes within the game, so yeah, it just feels like a missed opportunity. in a way, I'm glad Nintendo is still somewhat old school with their mentality on their games, right? But if that mentality means that their games are going to be more expensive because of how big and complete their games are, I don't know again if it's necessarily a bad thing that their games are more complete, right? But uh, the price tag just being at or over $80 is just crazy. I don't know how that, again, like, how do you justify that, right? With Mario Kart World being $80. That tells me that the game should be better than like other $70 games in every way, right? That's what that tells me. You can compare it to like Elden Ring, a game that's actually $60. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, that's $70. Even Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is $70. Okay? Apparently, the graphics of Mario Kart World are better than all those games. The scale of the open world is better. The music is better. The gameplay is better. The game has more replay value, things to do, a longer runtime, I should say. Like every aspect that you can possibly think of. Apparently, according to Nintendo, Mario Kart World is better in every single way, and that's why it's priced higher. That's kind of like the impression that you get, and that's why it's like so offensive to people, that they would even do something like this. Because, like, nobody's buying into that. Nobody's buying into the idea that this is like the best video game ever. Like, sure, it's a Mario Kart game. Mario Kart games are great every single time. There is a lot of replay value to Mario Kart games, right? Especially with the online stuff. I mean, sure, but I don't know. Maybe for many people, they will play it and say it's their favorite game of all time and say the price is justified. But Nintendo has done a bad job of communicating what makes Mario Kart World better than basically any game in existence. Because, right, all the other games, they all cost less, and that's why there's just so much hate towards it. Because, like, dude, I don't know how and why is this a good idea? It's not. It's just not. So it sucks. It sucks to see as a Nintendo fan, and I've been waiting for Mario Kart World forever. I'm still gonna be buying the game as soon as it comes out. I'm gonna try and get a bundle. I don't know how things are gonna go, but I'm gonna try. Um, yeah, let's actually talk about Mario Kart World as a game now, okay? And what we know about it. In the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, we got a general idea of what we could expect out of World, but it was obvious there was more to it than what was shown. Then they said there'd be a Direct dedicated to Mario Kart World, as we can see here. It's been playing in the background at this point. It has aired, and everybody agrees that it still didn't really show as much about the game that we didn't know already. Just like one or two new things here and there, and that's really about it. We got some more pieces of information about the free roam mode, mainly that there's over 100 missions to complete and there's some collectibles to get. We also got our first look at battle mode, but other than that, it felt like it was just treading the same ground as the previous Direct did, so it felt a bit pointless. If you're gonna approach, I don't know, let me say it again. If you're going for the approach that you don't want to reveal too much about the game and leave plenty of surprises for people to discover and post about on social media, then why even do a dedicated Direct for World, right? I don't know. It's a marketing fumble for sure, because it, again, just felt like they didn't want to share too much. They want to share a little bit, but not too much. And I get it, but I don't know. I think just like in the short term, it's going to work out for them. Or sorry, in the long term. In the long term, it's going to work out once the game is actually out. But in the short term, I think it's done a lot of damage, right? Like people who maybe were interested in the game are seeing the prices and they're seeing that, okay, yeah, the game's going to be good, but it's not going to be that good, right? It's not going to be good enough to justify spending $80. And they're kind of getting turned off. So the hype has really died down. Along with just, I don't know, we had all these different. I'll start bringing some of these up because this is basically done. But we've seen all these different gameplays throughout all these events going on, right? Um, where you see hands-on gameplay, yeah. Let me see, does this actually have... Yeah, it has off-screen gameplay. I kind of want one that's just completely off-screen gameplay, though, you know? Yeah, let's do this one. So, like, yeah, if you're more into this stuff and you're more of a hardcore Nintendo fan, right? Ah, geez, I need to get rid of that. There we go. I always forget about that. Okay, let's get back into this, okay? Let me find my place here. Yeah, so let's just say, right? Let's start by saying the casual audience who hasn't watched the Treehouse streams or gameplay footage from these playtest events probably did like the Mario Kart World Direct, but the hardcore fans just aren't too thrilled because we've just been seeing a lot of different things through these gameplay footages. So, I know I've learned a lot from them at least, and then you got people talking about it, and you know, the cat was kind of out of the bag, right, in terms of a lot of different things, but it just it felt like because of that, because we got all this footage we watched beforehand, that just wasn't very exciting. The Mario Kart World Direct. Um, what I personally think is going to happen is that the reception of Mario Kart World will continue to be more negative leading up to release, honestly. Like it's dying down a little bit now because all these directs are done and Nintendo's kind of going quiet a little bit, just having some commercials about the game and Nintendo Switch 2 here and there. But I don't know. I think the negative reception might actually affect the sales a little bit. If the bundle sells out everywhere, I really do think that there will be a small chunk of people who will refuse to buy World at $80 and they'll just wait for the bundle. But as World videos and other social media posts flood the internet, you might get some people to budge to buy Nintendo Switch 2 and Mario Kart World separate. But even with that, I think most people who wouldn't buy it still wouldn't after seeing gameplay footage, right? I mean, there's already plenty of it out there, so if people have made up their minds already, they're probably never going to be honest with you, because even with, you know, stuff they might see that we haven't seen yet, the stuff that they're hiding, even if you see something like that on social media, you still might not be convinced because it might not be anything too crazy. Might not be something that makes you go, whoa, I really want to buy the game. So, I don't know. I think Nintendo will get away with the price increases without a ton of loss in revenue and customers. I don't know. I mean, obviously nothing is selling better than Nintendo Switch 1, so if you just, I don't know. Hold on, let me read this. Let me read this before I actually say it. I think I screwed up. Yeah, so now I know what I'm saying here. So, just remember, right, when you do inevitably see that the Switch 2 sells much less than it did in the short term, in the long term than the Nintendo Switch 1, just remember, right, it's because it's a sequel console, it's because all the crap's a lot more expensive, yada yada yada. I feel like there's going to be a lot of negative stuff coming out about Nintendo Switch 2 as it's out. That's just me. But you know, if you're one of these fans who want to be positive about stuff, don't let the noise get to you, right? Because all this stuff's just kind of expected. They wouldn't increase the prices of anything really if they expected Nintendo Switch 2 to sell as well, right? So I think they're just banking on the price increases making up for these games not selling as well, and probably as a result, the company will be valued less to investors too. That's a whole other thing. I don't think most of us care about that, but they're probably looking to flaunt overall revenue rather than how much the stuff is selling. I think that's kind of what they're banking on. So Sorry, I'm going back to all the prices on stuff. I can't help it. I did business classes in college, and I find this stuff interesting. I'll actually talk about the game now, okay? Um, for me, I really like what I'm seeing out of this game. The characters all look the best they've ever looked outside of something like Wonder. There's a lot of fun costumes for many characters, and that's just fun to see. Not to mention that some of these character picks are absolutely insane in a good way. You can play as a cow, of course. That's going to be my main. You can play as the bat, the swooper, I think it's called. You can play as a snowman. You can play as the side stepper, aka the crab. You can play as a cataquack. It just feels like this roster is only really possible just by devs putting some random Mario characters' names in a hat and then pulling them out and saying, okay, we gotta add them now. So I think it's great, honestly. The visuals are very vibrant, right? This footage doesn't really do it justice, I feel like, but I don't know, man. I've played Mario Kart 8 a little more recently, obviously for the tier list I just did. I played Moo Moo Meadows, and then I looked back at the Mario Kart World trailers to see how it looks in that game, and just holy crap, dude. I don't think Mario Kart 8 looks bad at all, but I much prefer how World is looking in every way. World still has the detail that 8 has, and has just much more vibrant colors and better looking models, so I feel like it's an upgrade in every single way compared to 8. The gameplay looks much more engaging than it's ever been, too. Sure, there's no anti-gravity or underwater sections, but instead, we've got freaking rail grinding, okay? Wall driving as well, and races on vast open sea. I think it's different in a good way. I still don't know if I like the idea of driving on water over underwater, but I think it does open up some new possibilities, so I'm okay with it being that way in this game, right? I'd probably want underwater stuff back in the next game, though, so I just feel like it limits what old tracks can come back so much. Speaking of, I think all the tracks look great in this game from what I've seen, right? I've watched footage on almost all the tracks in the game, and the new ones look amazing. The old ones are really cool too because the new visuals, and then there's just new sections to the tracks now, thanks to the rail grinding, and you can like ride up walls to go into different sections now on some tracks, which is really cool. In the case of like Wario Stadium, the removal of some sections, actually kind of make it better to drive on in a way. I'd say the biggest glow up is Choco Mountain. I don't know if we'll get footage of it here. If we do, I'll mention it. But you guys know how I feel about Choco Mountain and Mario Kart 8. It's just one of the most okay tracks in that game. Like I feel nothing while I'm driving on it, but I don't know. I like the music. It's fun. Other than that, I just don't care for it. Now it's like a muddy football stadium with charging chucks all over the place, and it feels like a whole new track, dude. Legitimately. It honestly feels weird for it and Wario Stadium to be in the same game, and it feels like Choco Mountain as a stadium track does look superior, and I think that's pretty funny. I don't know. Like, I just think it's funny that Wario Stadium finally, like the final N64 track, is here, right? It's never returned in any other game, and then they add Choco Mountain also from N64, and they just make it a better like stadium. They make it a better stadium track for some reason. I don't know. Like, it's getting all of its spotlight stolen probably when the game comes out, I think. I really like what they did to Dino Jungle as well. Excuse me. I'm really stuttering around now, man. Oh boy. This is gonna be a long stream, as always. Again, don't ask me why. I have a hobby where I talk a lot and I can't talk very well. Don't ask me. There's more dinosaurs running around in Dino Jungle. You can drive on one of them and like rail grind on another. It's crazy. I love it. It's got a Jurassic Park theme going, which is also pretty cool. I think in terms of new tracks, my standout favorite is the Question Block Floating Island, which I feel like they might actually be heading towards in this footage, maybe? I don't know. That track just looks really cool visually, and it seems like it has a lot of different routes to take and is tricky to drive on. I feel like all the other original tracks in this game are really cool though. I'm gonna like them all, probably. I think the rail grinding and wall driving adds so much to every track, so there's so many ways you can drive on a track now without making the tracks like bigger or more confusing for newcomers. People will figure out the best routes and they will probably be crazy to watch. Right? I can't wait for the time trial stuff at the beginning of this game. It's gonna be just absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Um, I think there's more room to improvise with the charge jump mechanic. Maybe with it you can go on walls and jump past a bunch of people to just make some crazy plays, maybe at the finish line, you know. I just think there's potential for it to be super duper fun. Even the first track in the game, Mario Brothers Circuit, it looks like it's a standout first track for sure. I think it might be one of the best first tracks in Mario Kart history. I've seen some possible shortcuts I haven't seen people use in gameplay footage, so I just want to like experiment with all the tracks to figure out what I can do in them. What else? Oh yeah, I need to talk about Grand Prix and how it works in this game. So, your first race is a traditional I put rap race. Oh my god. It's a traditional 3-lap race on one track, okay? Then you have 3 other races, okay, just like in any other Grand Prix. You actually drive from the previous track to the next one. That is a really cool idea, but I've seen people complain about the execution. I do see where people are coming from, but as someone who's watched a lot of footage of these, like, intermissions, they're called, I feel like it's not as bad as people make them out to be. It seems like for the first 2 or 3 cups, the intermission sections are very linear, straight roads with not much going on outside of hazards to avoid. I feel like they get better and better as you move through the cups from left to right, though. I've seen footage of the intermission to like Bowser's Castle, for example, which is one of the last tracks in the game, and it was actually pretty cool. You get blasted towards an airship and drive on like the side of it. It's a really cool visual. It's not like I don't know what song's playing right now. What's this map called? I already forget it. It's not like that where you like drive on it for like 2 seconds and leave. It's actually like a really big airship. And like the scale of it's much bigger, and it's kind of what I wanted out of um, the airship track in Cloud Top Cruise. Thank you, Brain. Um, I think there will be some memorable moments in these intermission tracks, right? They'll probably be comparable to the tour tracks. I think people will appreciate them for what they are, but most people will probably just like the classic format more ultimately. There's Knockout Tour, which is similar in concept, but with a fun twist. So you're just going to do one long drive through a certain route. You're not going to be driving multiple laps on a track. You might not even drive through the entirety of any track, right? You just keep going. Keep going and going. Along the way, you get these checkpoints, and if you aren't in a certain place when you go through one, you are eliminated. So eventually, you'll go from 24 racers to 4 racers. It seems like the item scaling gets pretty crazy when there's just 4 people. In the treehouse footage, I think I saw someone get like a bullet bill in force, so that'll be pretty intense. I hear from basically everyone who's played the game at these events that this is their favorite mode. For me, once I explore let me try again. For me, once I explore free roam, I will probably spend a long time consistently playing Knockout Tour. Just seems really fun. I will say I had to make a decision between Mario Kart Tour and Deltarune on June 5th. I feel like this is important to bring up. It's the worst decision I've ever had to make in my life because why? Why are my 2 most anticipated games for many years coming out on the same day? Why has God forsaken me? Okay, like that's how I feel. But I asked myself one question, okay, to determine which one I'm going to play first, and it was, would I rather get spoiled about stuff in Mario Kart or Deltarune? And the the answer is definitely Mario Kart. Okay, so on June 5th, I'll be playing Deltarune. Honestly, I don't know how long it'll take me to complete Deltarune. Like the chapters 3 and 4 thing, it's completely unprecedented. Why did that? Why did my music stop? Why did it stop? What are you doing, music? Video pause. Continue watching. Yes, you a-hole. What are you guys saying, by the way? I haven't really been looking at the chat this whole time. Have you guys been saying stuff? DracoBot. I'm still upset that Mario Kart World's character selection mostly has costumes as their own slots instead of a sub-menu. I agree. I feel like the UI is pretty sloppy. I hope they do take the feedback into consideration and they change that for sure. I really do hope. Let me go ahead while I have like a little intermission here. Let me bring up footage of the treehouse just because it looks a little nicer. I am getting through this relatively quick, right? Quick enough to where I am, we'll see the character select here actually, to where I'm pretty okay with skipping out on the hands-on footage, and just going with the high quality stuff. Where was I at? Talking about Deltarune, right? Yeah. So again, chapters 3 and 4, I don't know how long they're going to be. It's a pretty unprecedented thing. You're actually going to buy, chapter 3 and 4 when it comes out. It's going to be $25. So I don't know if the chapters are going to be longer in of themselves, right? Compared to 1 and 2. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know what to expect. But I'll probably play it until I finish it. Okay, and then I'm going to start Mario Kart after. Just one of those things where I want to get it out of the way ASAP so I can use the internet once I play through all of it, because I probably won't be using the internet at all. At all. Like no Twitter, no social media, no YouTube, outside of just live streaming it. Obviously, I will definitely live stream Deltarune, so I hope you look forward to that. I'll talk about my thoughts on the new stuff we saw in Deltarune later. Okay, I'm still on Mario Kart. I haven't talked about free roam really, but it seems neat. Looks like there will be plenty of things to do and unlock. It's just really weird how in the direct they didn't talk about any unlockable stuff in free roam more. It's one of those things that they should have elaborated on more, because I don't know. For example, why are they keeping car decals a secret? Who cares that much? Like literally in this footage, if you look, you can see a little plus button when they're selecting their carts and stuff. I'll go back to it. So you see it like right here. Have a nice drive, okay? That's an unlockable probably. It's a little decal that shows up on your car. Why wouldn't they talk about the fact that free roam's probably going to be the way you unlock those? I don't know. Who cares that much? Who cares if we know that there's car decals and that you can unlock them? I don't know. If there's anything to unlock, I say just show it. It's just a little something, man. It's just a little something to look forward to. How do you expect people to get excited about free roam if you don't really want to tell us why you're going in that mode outside of just, meandering around and doing missions? They showed some of those crazy I don't know what to call it, but there's these big vehicles you can get in, and those seem pretty cool. You get like this big double-decker semi-truck. There's a boat, there's a helicopter. Like, why not just at least talk about it? They showed it, but they don't like talk about it, and they don't talk about if it's just going to be in free roam or if it's going to show up in other modes, right? If it's going to show up in actual racing. It seems like it does, but they just don't talk about it. It's weird. I just feel like for anything that they showed in the direct like that, in both directs, if they show it but they don't elaborate on it like that, I just think that's really dumb, in my opinion. I don't know. Yeah, I think they're a cool idea. I wish they were elaborated on a little bit more. They seem like special items almost, right? Like they only appear in certain places, and I think that's really cool. I don't know. people wanted a reason to be excited for free roam specifically, and they gave us the bare minimum. It's not good marketing at all. Even if there's not much more to it, I would have liked to see a little bit more. Okay, like you can just tell there's something there, and they just aren't saying what's going on there. I really do. Like I don't want to seem like I just want them to show everything off. Like I don't. I want them to keep some secrets, and I really do appreciate the fact that they do want to keep a lot of stuff secret. I don't know. But I already explained how, like, if they've shown something in a direct, they should probably just elaborate on it, right? They should elaborate on it to a point. Like, for example, when they showed off Rainbow Road, they didn't show off the actual track, but they just said, if you do this certain thing, then Rainbow Road's gonna show up. Okay, you elaborated on it. That's good enough. I don't know. It just, like, the biggest thing about that Mario Kart Direct, it just felt so corporate and safe. It was like, it was at least competent. It's not cringy with its dialogue or anything. It was fine. And, I don't know. People need a reason to be excited. There's not a lot there. Speaking of things I'm not too excited about, battle mode. It doesn't look bad, but yeah, it's just balloon battle and coin chasers and who knows how many maps, right? They didn't talk about that. It's just disappointing coming from Mario Kart 8, which, yeah, it started off with the worst battle mode ever, but they fixed it in the Switch version, right? It's just 2 modes and that's it. It's kind of sad. I seen people talk about, like, the exclusion of Renegade Roundup, and, like, yeah, dude, Piranha Plant is playable now. How are they going to do it without the Piranha Plant item? I guess you could maybe use a Mega Mushroom instead. Like, that's the only item I would be replacing the Piranha Plant. But other than that, I don't get the outrage over that. 2 battle modes isn't great. I wish there's 3, right? 3 is a nice little sweet spot. Maybe they should have added, like, a new one. Or just bring back, like, Shine Thief. Oh my god, my mouth. I can't talk. They got so much sunshine love, like, in the game already. Just why not get the shines in there, too? I don't know. I think I'm pretty much going to wrap it up, right? I've talked about the game a lot. The only thing I didn't really talk about was the music. Unironically, my biggest takeaway from the Mario Kart World Direct was that it was going to have a lot of good music. I've heard so many remixes of so many songs, and they all sound amazing. There's even remixes from other Mario games that aren't like old Mario Kart games, right? Like we got Bomb on Battlefield, which is really cool. And again, this makes me think, like, I wonder if there's some kind of radio for free roam, right? Because why are these music tracks even playing in the first place? Like, where are they going to play? Are they going to play on the intermissions otherwise? I don't know. It feels like it's one of those things where there probably is going to be a radio and you could choose different songs. At least I hope so. If that's not in the game, I'm again going to be pretty disappointed by that. Because they have so many songs in the game, obviously. Like, if there's unlockable music tracks, that'd be sick. I would love to go into free roam just to unlock all the music, honestly, because I'm just a big music guy. The Toad's Factory music, oh my god, it's euphoric. Oh my god. I'm so happy that track is finally coming back. It's one of my favorite Mario Kart tracks ever. It's great to see it, that it's just finally in this game. I think the retro selection, actually, in this game is pretty decent. I'm not thrilled about the picks, but I think there's enough fan favorites in there for me to be okay with it. I wish they did just pick retros that didn't come back in Mario Kart 8, but the only ones we got were, what, Mario Circuit 3, Moo Moo Meadows, and Choco Mountain. That's not bad, and I'd say that all those tracks feel very different from the 8 versions, because, you know, Mario Circuit 3 is part of 2 other Mario Circuits. They, like, mushed them all together. Moo Moo Meadows just kind of looks like it's more open in a way. I don't know. And I don't know, there's like a barn house now that you can run into. Like, there's these new little sections to it, I think, from what I can tell in footage. And then again, I already talked about Chocolate Mountain being completely different. So it's not bad. I'd say that the thing that I'm sad about with the retro course selection is that there's only one track coming back from Mario Kart 8, and that's Sky High Sunday. And yes, I do consider that a Mario Kart 8 track. Maybe I'm factually incorrect because I don't know if it's technically a tour track, actually. I don't know. But I consider it a Mario Kart 8 track because, I don't know, it was just new to that game, and I don't know if it came out like the same time as it did in tour. Like, I don't know which one came first. But I don't play tour, so it feels like a Mario Kart 8 thing to me, alright? Um, I get not bringing back stuff from Mario Kart 8 with no anti-gravity or underwater stuff, but all the stuff that, I don't know, let me say it again. Let me say it again. Of all the stuff to bring back, right? If you're gonna bring back one thing from Mario Kart 8, it's gonna be Sky High Sunday. Really? At the very least, I think they've made the track much more interesting in World. I've seen footage where there's more like mushroom shortcuts in it. There's rail grinding, of course. There's kind of like 3/4 into the track, you know, how you can like kind of jump off all those little like glass panels, it looks like, before you go around the bend and get on like the ice cubes. That little section there, it looks like there's like a new shortcut there. There's more places to drive on. So like they made it a little more interesting. It's still an oval, but they made it a little more interesting. I appreciate that. Track feels incomplete in Mario Kart 8 to me, and World feels like it's actually acceptable and fun to race on. So I'm cool with that. I think I'm done now. We're wrapping up with Mario Kart 8. I don't think I really have much else to say. Unlocking costumes like this, that's cool. That's fine. Unlocking stuff just by playing the game, like it seems pretty organic. I do like that progression system where if I just play the game, I'll eventually unlock everything. It's kind of like Mario Kart 8 in that way, where you know you just collect coins and you'll eventually get all the carts. So I like that, but yeah, man, game looks gorgeous, dude. Absolutely gorgeous. Before I move on, is there anything again that you guys are saying about Mario Kart World? OJ Smalls, welcome, hello. Switch 2 is old news. I'm looking forward to the Switch U. Oh no. New battle mode for Mario Kart World, Mario Kart 99. Yeah, I would love that. I haven't really even talked about like the possibility of DLC again. Isn't it weird that the Mario Kart Direct didn't really cover that? I think it's weird. I think it's very weird. Again, for an $80 game, you would think that maybe maybe there'd be something going on there, but I don't know. But I hope, yeah, there's like DLC for the game, and that's kind of like one of the things they might do. Oh, I want to move around a little bit, but I can't. I'm stuck to my setup here. It's gonna be fine. I don't have socks on, and my feet are getting cold. Where? Yeah, I think Mario Kart 99 would be sick. I'm still waiting for the Star Fox 99 announcement in one of these directs, though. I'm waiting for it. Imagine Star Fox 64, right? But you're in those sections where you gotta fight off a bunch of ships or other aircraft, I don't know what you want to call them. Until like Star Wolf appears, right? It's just one of those, except you're fighting just all real people all at the same time. I don't know how logistically that would go, but that would be pretty insane. I feel like the Switch 2 could pull off something like that. I don't know about the Switch 1, but I think the Switch 2 could pull that off. So I'm just waiting now. I'm just waiting. It's the end of my script, by the way. That's all I've got. That's all I've got. So again, for talking for now on, it's all non-scripted cowabunga. No filters, no quills. I don't know. Yeah. So what do we want to talk about next? Let's go back to the Switch 2 Direct. Let's see what they talk about next in the Direct, and we can go from there. I feel like they probably talk about their actual next game is that. Oh no, it's the next thing is Technically Mario Party, I think, yeah, because it has more stuff to it. But I want to talk about that when we get to, the whole idea of just yeah, here we go. Of like game upgrades for Nintendo Switch 2. But yeah, this crap here, all I really have to say about this is that um it should have been a thing that comes with Nintendo Switch, because like why not? It's just a fun little educational thing with some mini games in it. Why wouldn't this just come with the Switch? Why is it $10 more? Nobody's gonna buy this crap. To be very honest with you, nobody's buying it. Like here's the thing. Nintendo Switch Sports would have sold regardless if it was a pack-in with the Wii. This is the type of thing that's not gonna sell on its own. I just don't see it. Maybe it will just because it's gonna be in there at launch. But otherwise, I don't see it. I don't see it at all. I don't see it whatsoever. Okay. That's just me. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's just me. Now we can talk about Switch 2 editions of games, right? We can talk about this real quick. The impression that I've gotten about this Jamboree TV thing, this add-on, this new thing for Switch 2, the impressions that I've got based on people who played it at these events is that it's cool, right? It's a cool little like tech showcase, but it's gonna be like a one and done type of thing. Realistically, are you gonna spend the extra money? Because again, these Switch 2 editions of these games, you kind of have to like spend money to upgrade, which is very weird considering that, most of the time when you do like, for example, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5 upgrade, it's usually just free. So I love that face when you're when you get a star. It's awesome. It's like my favorite part of the direct for sure. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. It's weird that they're making people pay for upgraded versions of the games in a way. But I don't know. I mean, again, a lot of these upgrades are not going to be available straight away. That's a big thing. If they were like launch title things, I feel like they should just be free. If there's like no new content in them, they definitely should be free. But since it's new content, it's not coming out straight away. I guess it can kind of just be considered like console exclusive DLC. But yeah, I don't know. Like there's nothing too special going on here. It's just more Mario Party Jamboree, and I like Mario Party Jamboree, but I think I have the same opinion again as a lot of other people where I played it a couple times. I do really like it, but man, like I get the same mini games over and over and over again in like every single game. And I think that's probably what they should have focused on, is just doing that. I don't know. Making some more mini games for the base game, I think, was a priority. I haven't played Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom all that extensively anyway. Like I haven't played Tears of the Kingdom at all. I haven't bought that game. It's just been $70. The only time I've seen where it wasn't $70 was during Black Friday. It was actually like $30 on Black Friday. I could have gotten it, but I haven't even. I bought Breath of the Wild for $30 too, on some other Black Friday, and then I never played it. I played a little bit and I stopped, and I feel like I should not get Tears of the Kingdom unless I actually play and complete Breath of the Wild and I actually like it. So yeah, I don't know. But what else? What else we got here? Metroid, no. Kirby. You guys know I love Kirby. I love Kirby, and I play it on the channel because I do consider Kirby like the grandfather of platform fighters, okay? It just is. I give it the respect it deserves. I respect my elders, okay? But also I love Kirby. Kirby's like my favorite video game franchise ever. This is just more Kirby. It seems like, okay, sure, you're going back to the same levels, but the level design is like actually completely different in this little DLC thing. So that's sick. That's sick, and I can't wait to play the game again. And I can't wait until, well, first of all, I can't wait for stuff like this. I did not like the mouthful mode in this game. I still don't. It looks weird. It looks nasty. I don't like it. I don't like what they do to Kirby. It just, it's weird. It doesn't feel innocent. It feels weird. Okay, that's what I'll say. But I also can't wait for Galactonite to show up at the end and be canon. All right, everybody's predicting it. I'm predicting it too. It's gonna be canon. Metroid Prime 4. I feel like I should just talk about this game on its own, like right now, because there's actually some substance to this being, a game that's not out yet. Let me go ahead and bring up some Metroid Prime 4 Treehouse footage, okay? It's basically Treehouse got to play the exact same thing that people who went to these events played. They're all playing the same build up to a certain point, in the game, and this is basically like the beginning of the game. But if we're talking about Metroid Prime 1, I think that's like one of my favorite first-person shooters of all time. I love that game to death. I was starting to play Metroid Prime 2 again after Metroid Prime 4 got announced, and I fell off because I really do fall off a lot of different playthroughs that I do. I actually, have some gameplay of it for channel members, by the way. Every single time I mention channel members, I feel like I almost am obligated to give some subs. So maybe I'll do that right now. Let's do it. Right in the middle of the stream. Hey, shut up. Air Rider 99 would go crazy. You're right. Air Rider 99 would go crazy. I feel like they might even do that. They might do some Battle Royale. We don't know yet. Yeah, City Trial, but it's a 99 Battle Royale. That would be really sick. Anyway, let's gift these subs. All right, I'm gonna do it. So now anybody who gets these subs, they can enjoy my Metroid Prime 2 playthrough a little bit if they want. There we go. Lots of good people got some gifted subs. I'm glad. OJ Smalls, you're back in. You're such a freeloader, OJ Smalls. You get these gifted subs a lot. I don't mind. I don't care. It's fine. Anyway, let's go back to this. So, Metroid Prime 4, just in terms of the actual like lore of it, just seems like it's kicking off right from Metroid Prime 3. Silux, that guy, he's back, but I'm not convinced that he's like the main villain or anything. Look at this pretty game. It's great. I feel like the Mario Kart music is now out of place, though. Maybe I should switch it up a little bit. Let me do Metroid Samus Returns. Your DS OST. That game's got some good music. Some good appropriate music. I want specifically I'm trying to think which song it is that I really like in that game. I think it's like I clicked on the wrong one. I think it's this one. No, it's not. It might be this one. I haven't played this game, to be honest with you. But I just know there's a really good song in here. That's all I know. Dang, I don't see it. Hold on, let me just look up. Um, I swear to God, it's like lower Brinstar, I think. Yes, there we go. I got it. I got it, boys. I got it. So, anyway, Metroid Prime 4. Looks like more of the same, right? It's just much more pretty. It's like an HD game now. You can run at freaking 4K. You can run at 120 frames per second. You can use the freaking Joy-Con mice to be really precise with your with your shooting, and that's really cool. There's like actual NPCs that you can interact with and talk to and do all kinds of crazy stuff with. It's kind of crazy because usually when you're playing a Metroid Prime game, everybody around you is just dead. So it's cool to actually see like cutscenes happening and you're interacting with like the Federation Force. It's pretty sick. Um, a lot of people have been comparing this to like Halo, and I definitely see the comparisons for sure. Um, I don't know. I don't have like a ton to say about the game because you can just clearly see that it's just another Metroid Prime game, and Metroid Prime games are like peak. It's pretty much guaranteed to be good. There's nothing here that's like a red flag or anything. Like it's exactly what you would expect. I think the one thing I could probably talk about is this little boss fight here, right? Boss fight actually seems legitimately hard. It's nothing crazy, but you can see it's like really hard to aim at its weak spots. You got to be real precise, and there's enough stuff that you're doing, enough things to dodge and you know, jump there. Sometimes you gotta turn to a ball to dodge his attacks. Like it's cool. Like an actual really cool tutorial boss. So, um, I like it. I like this guy. This character literally looks like a Halo boss too. That's another crazy thing. He looked like a Halo character. So, yeah, man. I don't know. It's just very pretty. It's a day one buy for me. I will be playing it again on stream probably on the channel. So look forward to that. Uh, I'm just interested in a lot of Nintendo stuff. There's some non-Nintendo stuff that's coming out that I will probably like as well. But I don't know, there's not a lot on my radar in those regards. It's just a lot of stuff that I've kind of started but I haven't finished, like Anton Blast and Hades 2 still. Um, so yeah, it's just cool, man. It's a cool video game. What else? So we'll go back to the direct now. Whoopsie. Am I going way too far? I think I'm going way too far, yeah. What else we got here? So there's Kirby. Oh, Pokemon Zaza. Do not really care about this game, unfortunately. Like, don't care about Pokemon at all anymore, really. There's some cool stuff in this game, seemingly, but I don't know. I don't know, because it looks like there's some cool stuff, but is it to the same? Um, you're welcome, Peach, for the gifted. Um, yeah, is it like enough for me to really be like, oh wow, Pokemon's back, Like this is making me feel like, we're back to the glory days of Gen 4 and Gen 5 where the games for peak. Like now, it doesn't make me feel that way still. This game looks cool. This is like Dragon Drive, right? It looks cool. I don't know if I'm going to be playing this game though. I don't even know how I would stream something like this. This seems like it would be a pain in the butt for me to set up like space to play it unless I just use my legs or whatever, which is probably what I would end up doing. But this is one of those games where it's a very simple concept. It's not a look or anything. Wouldn't say it has like a crazy amount of personality. I think the personality is in the expression of what you can do and how you can play the game, which I do think there's value in that. I think that's sick, right? It's a wheelchair game. Like I'm sure people in wheelchairs will probably eat this crap up. Um, and it'll just have like this very niche, but um, but like close knit following. I think that'll be cool, but I'm not sure how into it I will be. Like this might not be one of those things where where I was playing like Rocket League and the skill ceiling was like so high that I liked the game and I did want to play it, but it was just like too hard. I don't know if the skill ceiling of this game is that crazy, but it might be big enough for me to be interested in it for maybe a little bit if I do buy it. I don't think I will though. I don't think I will. I'm gonna skip out on all this stuff like third-party games that we know exist. Although, hi SpongeBob and Tony Hawk, that's weird. Um, a new Hyrule Warriors game, I really don't give a crap to be honest with you. Um, I just feel like if I ever wanted to try one of these games, I would just play the first one and call it a day. Because that game is like 10 billion hours long, apparently. Um, GameCube on NSO is pretty sick. Uh, Only having like 3 or 4 games from the start is kind of weird, but Soul Calibur being one of them, super sick. I never played Soul Calibur 2, so it's really cool to be able to play that and to play as Link in that game too. Sure will be really sick. I'm sure he's still. I've heard that he's broken. I'm sure he's still broken. Um, FGO's GX is another one I've never ever played, so could be fun to just try them out. Like the thing about the service is that it just simply lets you try out some games that maybe you've never played before, and you're just like, oh yeah, maybe I'll give it a couple minutes here and see if I like it. So I appreciate that it's there, that this the accessibility is there for all these different games and all these different consoles, and that you can just try out whatever ones you want if you are even just slightly curious. It's nice to have that on the console. Deltarune! Deltarune! Oh my god. So, yeah. It's finally happening. It's finally coming out. I really did wish it came out sooner, though. Oh my god. Oh. Me having to, like, not play Mario Kart as soon as it comes out for this game is kind of, like, yucky. I don't know. But it is what it is. If you love something, you'll do anything for it, right? So that's my love for Deltarune will force me to hold off on Mario Kart for a little bit, for at least a couple days. Um, Let me go ahead. Let's get some Deltarune music in here, all right? Because I don't have any music playing right now for some reason. Da, 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 da. Deltarune. How you guys feeling about, the first party offerings coming out of Switch 2 so far, out of the ones that we've talked about so far? Because there's still like 2 big ones I haven't talked about yet, but how you guys feeling about the upgrades coming up? Like, do you care? Are you gonna buy them? I guess I'll just do Rude Buster, sure. I like Rude Buster. And I will do this version because I like it the most. There's a long version of this one too. I was already listening to apparently. There we go. This is a remix, by the way. I'll share it in the chat in case you guys want to listen to it on your own time. Because I like to credit people when I'm using their crap. Let's see, let me get my stream back up on my computer here. There we go. It's a really good remix. Really good remix. It's a fan-made remix. So I want to slow down this footage and everything too, because a lot just happens in a couple of seconds in this trailer. But there he is. It's Sans. So this is kind of looking like more of the same. Looks like there's some new mechanics where you shoot at things left and right. I'm not sure what exactly is going on here. There's like two dogs. I think left and right dog. And there's a heart in the middle. It looks like you kind of might have to move your joysticks to dodge incoming fire from a dog. It's probably a dog boss fight, right? Just from what I can tell. Maybe it looks like you might be using cats to fight dogs, potentially. That's just like silly crap. There's Friday Night Funkin' no, I'm just kidding. Guitar Hero mode here. Look at Susie go, dude. She's like ramming her head into the cymbals, and that's all she's doing. Get flung up. This is different because like Susie's a different color here, and Chris is a different color, so this is like a different thing altogether. This is like a chapter 4 thing, I think, right here. But like all the chapter 4 footage I've seen is like you getting chased around or like trying to escape something. I don't know if this is like some crazy in between like the worlds that you're traveling in, like the real world, quote unquote. You know, the one where everything's normal, like the fantasy world and the real world. Like I don't. The crazy thing about Deltarune is that sure everybody's got their theories, but we don't really know what's actually going on in this game still. Just in terms of the lore, I feel like a lot of stuff is going to be opened up. Look at this guy. This is going to be our next. I just have a feeling because I don't know if Chapter 4 is going to have one of these types of characters, but there's always when like a Deltarune chapter comes out, there's just that one guy. That one guy gets really popular and really crazy. Okay. Chapter 1 it was Lancer, kinda. I think. I don't know. Chapter 2 it was definitely Spamton. I know Jevil was the guy in Chapter 1. Yeah, no. Ignore what I said before. It's definitely Jevil, Chapter 1. Because they're just like the secret boss guys. And this might be our secret boss for Chapter 3. And he'll get super popular and be all over the internet for a couple days. I don't know. But yeah, then you see Chapter 4 where it's just like squiggly guys. And they're running away from squiggly guys. And they're both like... They're just not the same color as they usually are. And it's kind of weird. And they're running through freaking Deltarune symbols. Like, what the heck's going on here, dude? What's going on here? So I can't wait. I can't wait. And something's like opening up here. Whoa. There's cutscenes. And this heart is actually pixel perfect. Whoa. Yeah. So, why does it come out the same day as freaking Mario Kart, though? That's my only bad thing I could say about this game. It's the only bad thing. And that is the only third-party game I want to talk about. The rest I don't really care about. Maybe, I mean, Enter a Gungeon 2 is cool. Actually, like 3D. It's 3D, that's cool. I don't know. I like Enter the Gungeon, but I don't like it as much as some other people do, probably. But I think it is a pretty sick game. Like, if I had to choose between Enter the Gungeon and, like, Isaac, for example, Binding of Isaac's another game where people are just, like, crazy over it and they love it. But if I had to choose between the two, I'm definitely picking Enter the Gungeon. I like the way that game plays a lot better. A lot better. I think that's a controversial opinion, but that's just me. Apparently the most viewed moment of this direct is Final Fantasy VII Remake coming to the Switch. That is my goat, and that's very warranted. Alright, we'll talk about this game later, I'm sure. Professor Layton. This freaking game, dude. This freaking game. I need to go back to regular speed here. I'll keep the Deltarune music on because it's peak. This freaking game. basically it's Bloodborne 2, but it's called Dustblood. And I cannot believe just based off the visuals that this is an exclusive to Switch 2. Like I actually can't believe it. Because to me this looks like a PC game in a lot of ways, but it's on a Switch 2. The textures are not like, if you look at this trailer and you look at some of the textures are not amazing by any means, but I think there's probably like some DLSS or whatever they call it, cleaning up the dirty textures and making them look nicer, right? So I think this game is like visually stunning. I usually don't care for like Dark Souls, Bloodborne type games or anything. I really doubt that I'm gonna buy this straight away, especially if I don't know if this is like a $70 game, $80 game out of the gate potentially now, because again, Nintendo opened up those freaking floodgates for any big game to be $80 now. This guy's nasty. This girl, I don't know, that's probably a girl. That girl's nasty. Girl Frog's nasty. But I mean, this game looks, like it's gonna be just for its target audience, for those people who really like these types of games. This is gonna be for them, and it's an exclusive, which is insane. Um, I want to see more insane exclusives like this, just I want to see Nintendo being big boys and girls and getting some crap done, alright? Like, people say the exclusives don't matter anymore. Nah, brother. It matters to Nintendo, at the very least. I can see how nowadays that PlayStation or Xbox especially would not really care about that type of thing anymore, but Nintendo kind of needs their exclusives on this console because otherwise, I don't know, people are not going to be justifying buying their new system without exclusives. So it's a good sign to see something like this on the system for sure. Just targets a completely different demographic than what they usually go for, I think. All right, up next, Kirby Air Ride. I'm gonna stop the Deltarune music now because I'll take any opportunity I can get to get some Kirby music up in here. All right. So I already talked about a little bit about some expectation that we could have for this announcement here, Kirby Air Riders. But I'll go over it a little bit, alright, because all I really got out of this was a teaser, Kirby Air Ride, and that's fine. That's all I really need for the moment. I like this music a lot, so I'm gonna... No, not that. There we go, I'm gonna play that music because I really like it a lot. Just the menu music. I don't know what it is about Sakurai and his menu music in all of his games, but in all of his games specifically, the menu music is like the most memorable stuff ever. But yeah, obviously, I think when it comes to a Kirby Air Ride sequel, people are gonna want the three little modes to come back, even the top-down one that people didn't really love. I just feel like this is an opportunity to really build upon Kirby Air Ride. Kirby Air Ride is one of those games where it's fun for what it is, but there's definitely a lot of improvements that could be made on something like a Kirby Air Ride, just between like the camera and how the tracks are laid out, and um, fleshing out everything a little bit more with the driving and the abilities and whatnot. Like all just it has a chance to really come together a little bit more. It came together a little bit. Like the racing was fun in the original game, but it didn't quite come together. I feel like actually things came together a lot better in something like a City Trial, where it was an open thing and you got power ups and stuff like that. Like the idea of doing that was a lot more fun than the actual racing. Okay, I think everybody basically agrees on that. So I hope the focus get spread equally across all the modes, of course, but um, I think what people are going to really look forward to with this game is the city trial mode. I don't know if it's going to become the main mode. I'm thinking probably not. They're showing off just regular racing in this teaser, so that's probably going to be the main thing. I don't know, like this CG trailer is kind of showing a map that's somewhat similar to the first map in the first Kirby Air Ride. Definitely different though, because it's not like a little cave or anything. There's not like a river to be seen or anything, but it's pretty dang similar. And I don't know if this CGI trailer is an indicator that the tracks are going to be longer, that they are more open and whatever. I don't know. It probably doesn't mean much. We'll see once we actually get there though. Um, but with City Trial, right? That's the most anticipated thing. With the other two modes between the top-down mode and the actual racing mode, I just hope things get refined and we get a bunch of new stuff in each, like new characters to play, whatever. That's what I look forward to. Um, I look for the mechanics to be uh, funner, to distinguish itself even more from other racing games, and to feel more like Kirby, and to feel like I don't know, like it's a proper spin-off with a lot of care and attention to it. I'm sure Sakurai will have a lot of care and attention, but with the gameplay, it's just like, yeah, refine it, make this game, basically, because I'm sure Sakurai's been holding on to, criticisms maybe that he's had of Kirby Air Ride from himself and from other people, right? He's been holding on to him for the longest time. Now he has to, put the criticisms to the test and say, okay, yeah, I want to change things this way to make this feel better and yada yada yada. And that's all I'm really expecting out of the racing mode and top-down mode. I think both of them should come back, right? Even if not a lot of people really love the top-down mode, I thought it was still fun from what it was. So I think it'd be sick for it to come back. And then with City Trial, again, yes, as OJ Small said earlier, I think it'd be sick if there was some kind of battle royale aspect to the City Trial mode. I hope there's like multiple maps for City Trial. I hope there's multiple events across different maps, like, specific things that happen within certain maps. I think that'd be sick. Maybe it'd be really cool if each map had their own like um, legendary air ride pieces to collect, right? Like they're just the special carts that do certain fun things. Like I want them to be spread out across a couple different maps. Maybe like 3 maps. You get 2 of the old ones and then 1 new one that does something crazy. That's what I would like to see. Um, and obviously the game needs online, just in general, needs online on every mode. But yeah, specifically for City Trial, it'd be awesome if you could play online, do a little mini game at the end, have your fun that way. Hope there's more little mini games that you can do. Yada yada yada. Just more of everything. Just make this Kirby Air Ride one, but bigger, and make it make the racing a little more smooth and a little more refined, and we'll be good to go. If that's what this game is, like, dude, I'm gonna be playing it for such a long time, such a long time. So that's all I can really hope for out of this game. Let's move on to Donkey Kong. Talk about Donkey Kong. Dun 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 dun. I'm gonna bring up that music right now. Donkey Kong Jungle Beat. I guess that would just be the menu music. Again, apparently I just like all the menu musics of all video games ever, but I don't care. I think the menu music in Jungle Beat's very memorable and funny. Dun 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 dun. Donkey Kong. Dun 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 dun. Donkey Kong. I love it. I love it. Let me go ahead. I'm gonna bring up like a playlist of music. Oh my God, these are like extended 30-minute versions of the songs. I don't think I need that for that long, but okay. Let's do Battle for Stormhill. That's obviously the best one, and it's the one that's in Smash. So yeah. Donkey Kong Bonanza. I'll be honest, like while I was reacting to this game in real time, I feel like I was getting like sensory overload and I was not processing what was happening in front of my face. And that's why I didn't necessarily sound excited, right? Like there's some dude when I posted the short I made to TikTok, he made fun of me for being like, "Oh yeah, this is basically exactly what I would want in my life right about now." I don't know, that wasn't the exact quote, but I said something along those lines. He quoted that and then said, with the enthusiasm of like a brick. It's like, okay, man, I know I didn't sound enthused, but truly what was happening while I was watching this footage right here was that like I was kind of just not processing exactly what was in front of my face. I was still trying to process the fact that, oh, you can pick up terrain and then you can like destroy it and then you can go wherever you want. Really, like everything is destructible. Like what do you mean everything is destructible? Like it's Minecraft, but it's like a platformer that has super smooth movement and stuff, and you're playing as Donkey Kong and Mario Odyssey levels that you can just destroy. Like, what do you mean, right? Like, I couldn't even process that as I was watching it. So it's safe to say that like I was just seeing something that I couldn't process. I couldn't believe it was real, really. Um, and because of that, I couldn't really show much emotion towards it, but I knew one thing for sure that as I was watching it, that this game was just gonna be a guaranteed 10 out of 10. And really, again, when I'm watching something that's a guaranteed 10 out of 10, what can I say about that? It's like, bro, it's just gonna be peak, and like, I'm not gonna sit here and go, oh my god, ah, like put on a voice and fake a reaction. Like, no, it looks super duper solid, and what else can be said and what else can be done? It just like, oh my god, it's a Donkey Kong game that's actually Mario Odyssey, and you can destroy everything, and it's just peak. It's like undeniably, without question, without, I don't know, any argument. It's just peak. Don't tell me it's Bonanza. It's Bonanza. I'm about to say, come on, bro. Stupid, stupid, stupid YouTube. Yeah, I'll do this. Why not? I don't have a ton left to say about this game, but I'll bring up some gameplay here. Just because, again, we could talk about, for example, how Donkey Kong looks. Donkey Kong looks really good. I know there's some people who can't get used to this redesign, who maybe don't even like it. Me personally, I really like the redesign. I think he looks really great. I mean, he basically does just look like a cartoon character from like some animated film, and that's because he kind of is that. It's just the Mario movie design. But yeah, just look at this, dude. You just slam on the ground and you'll just find stuff wherever. You'll get a whole bunch of collectibles. You can see ground below you eventually, so it's like, oh snap, I can go somewhere. Um, I guess, big question is that, okay, is this gonna feel like a Mario game, or is this gonna feel like a Donkey Kong game, or is it gonna feel like something completely different? To me, I feel like it's gonna be something different, but I feel like it's gonna be something different in a very good way. In a very good way. I think it's okay for, for this not to necessarily be just the Donkey Kong 64 sequel, right? For it to play exactly like Donkey Kong 64, and I think it's okay for it to not exactly be a Mario Odyssey sequel, not play exactly like Mario Odyssey. Like, sure, I love sequels to video games, don't get me wrong. Sometimes, like, for example, with freaking Kirby's Air Ride, I really do hope it is just Kirby's Air Ride, but better, right? Sometimes you want just the video game, but better when it comes to a sequel. But Donkey Kong Bonanza does just look like something completely new, and that's also fine. It's completely fine. Um, it's being an innovative video game, and I like those. And this game specifically just looks really crazy. The textures on these rocks are not holding up sometimes, but that's okay. It's okay. The game's doing a lot, man. The game's doing a lot. It's a crazy freaking video game. Oh, sacrifices have to be made. The thing about this game, right, is that you've got these levels that you can quite literally just destroy in every way, shape, or form. They have so many freaking collectibles on these levels. Even if these levels are not all that big, I really don't expect them to be. If they are completely destructible, I don't expect there to be any like huge levels in this game. I think they'll probably all be about the same size. Of course, probably the ones near the end of the game will be longer and bigger, but like, yeah, I think for the most part, like, you'll know what to expect out of the game to a certain extent, but the collectibles will be what really carries the game because you're just going to be looking every last little nook and cranny for these collectibles. It's not like Mario Odyssey where you can kind of just, okay, you can actually explore the entire map and get what you want. Even in something like this game where, for example, if you have a mini map that's helping you understand the general locations of where these freaking collectibles could be, right? It's still going to be kind of crazy to figure out where they are. Man, seems like the mini map in this game is actually pretty cool. You just kind of zoom out and then you can have like this 3D little diorama of the world and zoom in and out and go in and figure out where things are that way, potentially too. I don't know why I said it like that. You can figure out where things are potentially too. And I think that's cool. Um, Donkey Kong, some of these animations are a little sus, bro. That's what I'll say about that as well. But I'm sure some very immature people are gonna have a field day with this game while streaming it, probably. But yeah, there's like little checkpoints. There's all like, I don't know. There's just a lot to this game. It's still kind of hard to process what is going on in this game and what all I can do with it. This will probably be a game again that I will stream, and I really don't expect myself to just sit around and do every little last little thing and do every last little collectible. If I'm streaming it, I don't expect to do that just in general with this game because I kind of got sick with that with Mario Odyssey at some point. Like sometimes games could be too big, and this game is definitely going to be really big, expansive, and crazy. There's going to be so much to do with it. And again, this is the $70 game. I would think if they were going to make a game $80, it would probably actually be this one because surely, in theory, this is actually the game that has more content than Mario Kart World, right? In theory, that's a whole other reason why the price stuff is kind of crazy. Bro. What? I'm just looking at a comment. Don't mind me. What? Anyway, these dang bots, bro. They're like doxing themselves. Where was I? I feel like I can probably actually just summarize and just get to the point here. I feel like, sure, I could talk about this game a lot, but at the end of the day, whoa, that was a crazy move. You throw stuff down to get higher jumps. Crazy. There's all kinds of crazy stuff in this game. There's just so much to it. Here's a little diorama here. But, okay, what I can say about this game, for sure, is that it's gonna probably be worth the $70. There's gonna be so much to do. I don't know how much I'm gonna realistically play it or even like it because of how open it is and how much it relies on you exploring it. Usually those types of games don't exactly like uh, keep my attention forever, like they're kind of wanting to, but I still feel like I'll really enjoy it for what it is. I mean, when I look at the trailer, not so much footage from this. I don't know if this footage does this game a ton of favors for me personally. I'm sure it does for other people, but for me, it's like, you know, gameplay footage here looks cool. It looks fun. But there were parts in the trailer that I liked a lot more, right? I feel like it's going to be the type of game that I'm going to want to just probably get the bare minimum collectibles and just go through the game and have my fun with it that way. And then, then go back and do all the collectibles and stuff, but just experience it for what it has to offer first as a video game, as a story, and whatever else. And then go back and do the collectathon thing. Um, yeah, yeah. Just being able to punch through stuff and all this crazy stuff. I don't know, like you're playing Minecraft, but it's Donkey Kong instead. You're a giant monkey who likes Minecraft, and you get lots of money. Um, Now what the money does, besides you can definitely get cosmetics, but after that, I don't know. If you get like new moves, like if you could expand your move set, because there's like 3 different buttons for attacking in this game. So if you can actually get more moves for like movement and attacking things, and the combat gets a little more interesting uh, later on in the game, that's what will definitely, I think, attract me personally. That's what I hope this game has. But if it's not that, if this right here, what we're seeing here is basically what you can expect out of the entire game. It doesn't really expand upon itself much from here. I think it'll be all right. I think it'll be worth the money. I don't know if I'm gonna love the game, but I feel like, on a content level, it'll definitely be worth the money because there's just so much crap to do. But yeah, in order for me to like really be super excited about this game and love it. By the way, this freaking Cranky Kong guy, he has a shovel. He has a shovel. Is Shovel Knight reference? No way. Because, in Tropical Freeze, he bounces around and pogoes around like Scrooge and Shovel Knight does, right? Which came first? I think Shovel Knight came before Cranky Kong got playable in Tropical Freeze. So, in a way, Cranky Kong is referencing Shovel Knight, guys. He's doing it. Shovel Knight gonna be in Smash now. Because they like the game, obviously. Now, I don't know. But, I think I'm done. I talked about Smash, right? I keep talking about Smash because I'm a platform fighting game channel. I don't think I should really talk about, the things I'm still expecting out of the Switch 2. If you want to hear about that, there's a video about that you can watch where I talked about my expectations in once for the Switch 2. I'm sure you can find it, or I can link it if you guys want, but I don't feel like linking it right now because I'm in the middle of a stream. I want you guys to watch the stream. So yeah, you can look that up later if you haven't seen that. But that being said, I think that's pretty much all the news from Nintendo. Again, me personally, I'm feeling pretty positive about the Switch 2. I can't wait to buy it and play the video games that are coming out for it. Um, does that make me a shill? No, because I don't know. I'm the type of guy who knows that this crap's gonna come out, right? And saves up money for it. So the prices of stuff's not necessarily a problem, but I do understand how other people are mad about the prices. I just think, the internet takes things way out of proportion. I think a lot of people who are complaining about prices of stuff are probably just going to buy things anyway, especially the content creators, right? They'll all say that the prices are definitely too high and agree with their viewers that that is the case, but ultimately all everybody who makes content off this stuff's going to let Nintendo probably get away with the price gouging. And that's okay. Whatever. It is what it is. Again, I hope that Mario Kart World is the exception because games going up to 70, I can kind of understand and I can kind of deal with it. Games going up to 80, that's where even I, somebody who, when these games get announced, I start saving up for them and stuff. Even I, with $80, feel a little like, man, can't they be less? Like, I can literally do anything else with my life for $80 too at this point. Like, I go out to eat with somebody for like $80 or go to a concert for $80 plus. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I could be doing other things other than video games. Video games are kind of like the thing that I do for fun that's also a little cheap, right? But now it's starting to get expensive to be a gamer. It's like, I don't know, man. I could do a lot of things with $80 every couple months, right? I could be doing a lot of other fun things. So, um, I'll be going out to like sports games or something, buy tickets for $80 for me and somebody else. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just tricky. It's just tricky. Being somebody, obviously, no matter what, like my favorite hobby is to play video games. So yeah, it's worth it for me no matter what the prices are, but I can see where other people come from with it is what I'm trying to say. Um, let's move on to the other topic that I wanted to cover, okay? Then after that I'll stop yapping, but um I think I want to talk about my favorite games from 2024, okay? I want to do this earlier in the year, but obviously I've been pretty busy the past couple months. I just haven't had a chance to do it. So we'll talk about these things now, okay? I would love to have some more structure to this, honestly. But again, I wrote like a script for the first part of this stream where I was talking about Nintendo Switch 2 and Mario Kart because I do care about both of those topics. I didn't want to miss anything. And now I kind of have nothing for this, but I figured if I'm going to sit here and talk for an entire stream, this would probably be the best time to go into this topic as well. So, I'll just go ahead. Let me just get some general, like, I don't know, let's just get some Sonic music on because I'm sure I will be talking about Sonic at some point here. Um, but I have like a top three. I have a top three games of last year that I really, really liked. and I want to talk about them. I do. I really do. And what I'm going to end up doing actually is taking footage of, oh man, I um, go back to Shadow Generations and kind of realize I actually don't love the music in this game, but this should work just fine. I do like some of the music, but it's not my favorite Sonic soundtrack for sure. This song's really sick though. Let's go ahead. I'm gonna get some footage from my channel here about all these different games that I played last year. Most of it is from most of it's from a certain playlist. Probably gonna be from my coffee supporter stuff. I can't just do that, right? Yeah. So this is all the stuff you're missing, by the way, if you're not a channel member. I'll just give you a little preview of what's going on here. Fortunately, I don't think that Shadow Generations as a game makes my top 3 favorites, but I will give it a shout out because seriously, that Shadow Generations experience. Let's just go ahead, say screw and start watching this now. Right. Just has some background footage. Shadow Generations is definitely one of the best Sonic experiences I have had. Oh my god, does this footage really look this nasty? I'm glad I have a freaking computer now, and my footage will look a lot nicer than this moving forward. The game was lagging during this part too, bro. I record all my stuff on a Steam Deck. It's crazy. Not anymore, thankfully. Not anymore. But Shadow Generations. Let's actually get to the point. Shadow Generations is one of the most solid Sonic games ever. Like, is it the best one? I would say so because, like, I don't know. If you want to play a Sonic game, Sonic Generations is already there. It was already one of the best Sonic games ever. Then you take Shadow Generations, throw that on top of it. It's like, bro. How could you really say objectively that with Shadow Generations packaged with Sonic Generations that's not just the best Sonic game ever? Because it has all the old zones. It's like a tribute game, right? And then so you get all the best of all the good and the bad games. They make the bad games good in Sonic Generations, right? They actually make the levels fun. And then I don't know, you just got super solid gameplay in both. Sonic Generations does definitely show its age just in terms of like the cutscene quality, but Shadow Generations really steps it up there, so that's not really a problem at all at that point with Shadow Generations. And yeah, I don't know, level design is just consistently fun in both games. And Shadow Generations specifically, like I would consider Shadow Generations like the new game. It's fair game for like a best of 2024 list, not so much Sonic Generations. Sonic Generations already came out, but Shadow Generations is completely new. Shadow Generations, I just feel like it's too short to like be on like my top 3, but it's like a top 5 for me, probably from last year, just because I love Sonic and Sonic Team's back. They're actually making really good stuff here, you know, with a traditional Sonic game format. So, level design, really fun. Music's alright, but the level design really shines. It really carries this game really hard. So, I think this game is super sick. Again, probably like a top 5 for me, not a top 3, but I'll shout it out here because I love Sonic, and I'll go ahead and shout out Sonic whenever I can. I'll also give Mario and Luigi Brothership a shout out, alright? I'll give it a shout out. I don't think it's a top 3, but I think it's a top 5 game for me as well from last year, legitimately, which is weird because I don't particularly see people. Whoopsie. Let me actually view the video, please. I know I'm a dummy. I'm sorry. I should have just did it this way. There we go. People didn't particularly like this game for some reason. I really liked Mario and Luigi Brothership though, because in general I like the Mario and Luigi games. They're usually some of my favorite RPGs out there, just because I like the I don't know, the activeness of battle where you have to, have certain button presses at certain times to do more damage or take less damage, to counter moves altogether, stuff like that. Like, I always like that aspect of the Mario and Luigi games that makes them stick out to me from other RPGs. And I really feel like ever since I've played like Mario and Luigi and Paper Mario and stuff like that, traditional RPGs are usually just not enough for me. Like, you gotta have some extra spice to you if you play like a traditional RPG with like, none of the stuff that makes these games special. Which again, mainly is like the timing on button presses and stuff for attacks. If you don't have that, then you gotta have some extra sauce. Like, some games that have that extra sauce are like Final Fantasy VII with the materia, not Bravely Default, Octopath Traveler. When I played that game, it has some extra sauce with its battle system. I can't explain the battle system off the top of my head, honestly, but if you played the game, you know. But yeah, Mario and Luigi Brothership. This is a 40+ hour video game. That's crazy. That's crazy. When we talk about prices and getting value and, are games worth it or whatever, this game's definitely worth it, because I'm not going to sit here and say I enjoyed the entire 40 hours of my playthrough. That's why it's like a top 5 and not necessarily a top 3 for me. But I really liked a good chunk of the game. The story is decent, nothing crazy, but I like how it plays out for the most part. I like all the little islands you explore. There's only just a couple of times where the game feels like it drags. Other than that, like, the story's fine, and it progresses in a cool little way. And there's some cool little moments in the game that are pretty memorable, and I like them. The actual gameplay, super engaging, super fun. The bros attacks look visually stunning. Like, this game's a really good looking game. I hope this is one of the games that get like a Switch 2 upgrade at some point, because I feel like it could definitely use it. There's like frame drops here and there in this game. Nothing crazy, but performance could be a little bit better. Graphics, the graphics went up and the frame rate went up, that'd be crazy. There's some kind of extra DLC to it, that'd be crazy. I would love that. But yeah, just as a game itself, super duper solid in every single way. Music's not by Yoko, but the music's still really good. Boss fights are super good. I love most of the boss fights in this game. It definitely put like the battle system to the test, all the different new things that they added. I like traversing the worlds, right? I like doing basically everything in this game. I liked it, and it was great. I don't know. I don't hear people really talking about the game, but I think that's just because it's a solid game and people like it, and that's really about it. There's not a ton to talk about with it, but it's just like solid in every single way. And I wish more people did play it because, like where I work, right, we sell games, sell a lot of things, but we sell games, and because I'm a retail worker. And like this game just sits on the shelves, dude. And it's really, really sad. We have so many freaking copies of it, and it just sits on the shelves. It's like, bro, I wish more people actually wanted to play this game. It just makes me sad. Um, but I'll keep talking about it. I'll keep gassing it up for sure because I like it a lot. Up next, let me see. I think another game that we could probably talk about here for proper top three now, okay? Proper top three. Let me go back into that playlist of all the games. Yeah, I'm really trying to think, like, what games did I play last year that I really like? I don't know, maybe Mothership and um Brothership and Shadow Generations both would kind of meet somewhere in my top three somewhere now that I'm thinking about it. Anton Blast has potential to probably be a top three game, but technically, I'm not finished with my playthrough of it just yet, and it would probably, I don't know, maybe be a top 2025 game for me since I would probably do the majority of the playthrough this year, but I don't know. I mean, it has potential to be a top three from last year for sure. Um, yeah, I'm just playing a lot of old games, Thousand Year Door Remake's not really old, right? But it's the remake came out recently, but it's still an old game, I guess. I did really enjoy it, but I don't know if it could be on like a top list of 2024 games because it's not really a 2024 game. But I still really enjoyed my time with that. Hades 2, again, if I had to choose between Hades 2 and the other two games I mentioned previously, I'd probably choose the other two games actually. So Hades 2, I really liked it a lot. Obviously, I played it quite a bit too with all these different parts here. They're all about an hour long. So I did enjoy the game. From what I played, I still haven't beat like the first final boss. Apparently, there's multiple final bosses, but I haven't beaten like the first big bad of this game just yet. There's been a couple updates out since I've last played it. Like I played it in May of last year. Has it almost already been out for like a year, dude? That's nuts. Hades 2's already been out for like a year? How? That's insane. Time's moving too fast. Jeez. Yeah, but Hades 2 is very, very fun. It's just that when I played it, it was, in early access and not complete. I feel like if I gave it a try now, I'd probably like it a little bit better, and I'd probably be able to beat the boss after a couple of runs now, I think. Again, Super Mario RPG Remake, not really a new game, but I'm glad that came back. I think personally, really my highlight of 2024 altogether was just the fact that I was able to play a Mario and Luigi game, a Super Mario RPG remake, and a Thousand Year Door remake all within the same year. That craps are very, very special to me because again, probably my favorite RPG series in general are the Mario RPGs. So to have like three of them all come out pretty much at the same time like that, it's unprecedented. Like I never would have expected that to ever happen. To have all these games come out all around the same time, but I'll take it. It's great. It's kind of like what's happening now with the Switch 2, really, between Mario Kart World and Kirby Air Riders coming out. Like those two games coming out at a pretty similar point in time is also pretty insane to me. Because one of them's like my childhood game I played for hours and hours and hours. The other one's like my most anticipated game pretty much ever. So yeah, this is the game right here that I really want to talk about, though. I guess I'm just gonna bring up spoiler footage. So if you haven't played Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, you're about to basically just see the ending of this game. Obviously, I need some music that fits here much better than Mario and Luigi. Mario and Luigi music does not fit the atmosphere of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth at all. I will definitely do this song because this song's amazing. It's probably one of my favorite songs in this game. Here we go. I'm waiting for it to play. Waiting for it to get going. This game, I think, is my favorite game of 2024 right here. Obviously, I did a 20-part playthrough. There's actually a part 21 where I did some side quest stuff, but I've kind of gotten stuck since then. That's why nothing else has kind of come out from this playthrough ever since, because I just got stuck. I got stuck in Cosmo Canyon doing stuff. I couldn't really figure out where to go, right? So again, preference by saying this is by no means a perfect video game. No game's really perfect, but I guess some are more perfect than others, right? But yeah, this is not by any means a perfect video game. I do have some problems with it. Like, I have a rating system too where I rate a lot of different games of mine that I have played in the past. I could probably even bring that up right now, just while we're talking about something like that. Let me see. But while I bring it up, there's a lot of games I give like a 10 out of 10 to, right? And usually for me, if I'm giving a game a 10 out of 10, it's because either I did just have pretty much a perfect playthrough with it and I have no complaints, and I thought, okay, I played the game, I really liked it the whole way through, have no complaints, it's a 10 out of 10. Or, I played a game and I thought, wow, this is like phenomenal in so many different ways. Sure, there's some problems with it, but I still feel like this is a 10 out of 10. There's things that could be improved, but the highs are probably like really, really high. I can't find this document. Oh no. Never mind, I found it now. So, okay. So for example, got platformers. I have them all ordered here based on playthroughs that I've done in the past. Okay, so like I've given Pizza Tower 10 out of 10. Pizza Tower is legitimately pretty much a 10 out of 10 game. I have no complaints. I don't like it's just a perfect game. I don't know how I could really improve upon it in any single way, shape, or form. For what it goes for, it's like perfect. Like actually perfect. Maybe just some level design things here and there that are a little bit annoying. Other than that, like Pizza Tower is like a perfect playthrough. I gave Forgotten Land a 10 out of 10 for what it is, for like the 10, 11 hour experience that I had with that game. No complaints. I loved it the whole way through. Is it a perfect game? No. Would have liked it to maybe be longer. Sure. Same thing with Pizza Tower. If there's more of it, that would be great. But from what I played, like the game was really good. Maybe Forgotten Land's a little bit exploitable with its dodge, right? Because the dodge, you can just do it whenever you want and you'll most likely dodge. And like the combat in that way can be kind of easy sometimes, but I don't know. Some of the boss fights do get really crazy in Forgotten Land. They can be hard no matter what. I wouldn't say it's a perfect game to replay because of that. Replay value is not as strong as some other Kirby games, but I still think for what it is, it's a 10 out of 10 game. Mario Wonder 10 out of 10 game. Because I think that did come out last year, right? Mario Wonder? Mario Wonder would definitely make my top 3. Yeah, Mario Wonder's just like, I don't know. Perfect 2D Mario game experience expands upon, what was done previously in other 2D Mario games with the Wonder Flowers and, the dynamic changing levels. I thought It was entertaining the whole way through. Again, if I had a criticism about the game, maybe it would be that, it is an easy game, but I like my breezy games. Forgotten Land is still a 10 out of 10, even with being pretty much mostly breezy, not having a lot of hard moments. But Mario Wonder, Kirby's Forgotten Land, they can have their hard levels or their hard boss fights that make up for it. Speaking of boss fights, Mario Wonder could have used like some better boss fights. I think that was a criticism that a lot of people had, and I agree with that. But I still loved it like the whole way through. Every single level I played, I loved, and like I think it's a really good game. So I don't know. For me, it's like a 10 out of 10. I probably shouldn't be talking about it until I show footage of it, but whatever. It's definitely in my top three. Um, so like you said, you just see my rating systems here. As you can see, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is highlighted, and that's because to me, it is like my favorite video game of all time. So again, not a perfect game. I'm getting stuck trying to do side quest stuff. World traversal could be better. Like I'm just getting confused about where I'm supposed to go in some of these later areas. That's my like one complaint about this game. I feel like literally everything else, everything. Oh, I can get rid of all these. Uh, I'll update that later. I'll have it up. I promise I'll play all of these at some point. I promise. SpongeBob's probably gonna actually come up pretty soon if I can, use my days off to stream mostly. Then that's something that will definitely happen. But this game right here, I could gush about it all day, so I will. So Final Fantasy Remake, we can talk about that first. It's been like 10 years since that game. No, not 10 years. 10 years since the game got announced, right? And then probably like 5 years since Remake came out now. Um, Insanity. That's the case, because I remember that crap like it was yesterday. Because when Final Fantasy VII Remake came out, that was when the pandemic started, right? And the pandemic was probably like the scariest thing ever at my point in my life because there's this disease being spread around, potentially dangerous to people's health, quarantining, and everybody's taking it very seriously, and it's just kind of scary because it's like, oh my god, this is some crazy dangerous world event. um, did COVID end up being as deadly enough to warrant quarantines and stuff? Yeah, probably so. I'm not one of these people who say, "Oh, it was just a freaking cold." No, it wasn't. It was a little more dangerous than that. I think quarantining and taking it seriously definitely helped save people's lives. Obviously, I lived through it, and I could tell that people were getting tired of it and stopped wearing their mask basically after a couple weeks, and stopped caring after a couple weeks, and it's a big shame because um, if we took it seriously for longer, maybe more people would have lived, and it just sucks. It just sucks that you know we live in the world we live in, but Final Fantasy VII Remake was a distraction from all the heavy thoughts like that, right? that I have about this stupid world that we live in. Um, it was a game that I needed at the time that it came out. Really helped me out. Um, uh, come out of some, just a bad time in the world. Um, we aren't talking about remake though, right? We're talking about Rebirth. Rebirth also came out at a time where I was basically feeling pretty dang depressed, just about stuff in general. At this point, it's been so long, I kind of forget what I was depressed about. I probably was just depressed about life and how it was. Probably mainly by the time Rebirth came out, it's probably like a year since I came out of college, you know, and I went to college to obviously get a different job and to have different opportunities in life and to move on in life, and it didn't happen, you know. All my job searching has not gone well. Still doesn't go well to this day. um, to get into my field, and you know, I don't know if just maybe at the time I was feeling sorry for myself. Um, I was feeling annoyed about just not moving on in the world, feeling like I'm in purgatory and freaking in retail hell, right? That I'm still in. But you know, this game came around and just put me on a freaking adventure, dude. And Remake for its time was a very special game. But you know, you wondered, okay, Remake's just such a solid freaking game, super duper fun. For Rebirth, how exactly are they going to expand upon it? Like, obviously, there's going to be the open world. So, how would the open world really, and not just exploring Midgar, um, how would that make the experience better? Basically, would it make it much better, or would it just kind of be like, you know, the open world's nothing crazy, like there's not a ton of things to do, and I don't know, it's not as enjoyable, it's just like a more linear experience, yada yada yada. Well, I can say that, like, again, one complaint about this game, world traversal, it was not that great. But then after that, oh my god, everything in this game pretty much hit for me. So you go one by one. The visuals were the same as Remake, basically. Same graphic fidelity as Remake, and Remake already looked really, really good. The thing about Remake versus Rebirth, though, is that, again, you're exploring Midgar for the entirety of Remake, and they can make something like um, Midgar look really pretty at times, but you know, for the most part, you're just exploring like this crazy industrial place, or you are exploring like the upper part of Midgar where you know it's all, I don't know, city-like, all kinds of lights everywhere. Um, or you just explore the slums, which like they definitely made the slums more interesting in Remake. I think the highlight was the wall market, right? But still, you're going through slums, you're going through some ugly looking places at times, you're going through a lot of destruction in that game as well because stuff gets destroyed and all that fun stuff. So you go through Rebirth and it actually feels like you're going through a world now. Like you're going through a living, breathing world full of different areas that have a whole bunch of different. I'm struggling here, bro. Struggling in this boss fight. The boss fights in this game can get crazy hard sometimes. But you've got like just these lush grass fields, and then the actual areas you go into, there's plenty of unique NPCs that you'll encounter. Uh, there's all kinds of different shops to go to, a bunch of mini games in each different place that you go to. Like the world really is just filled up with so much different freaking crap to do, and it is insane. It is actually insane what this game was willing to, or was able to pull off, I should say. Um, it's like I don't know. For me, I don't know how impressive it is, considering that, again, I didn't put a ton of time to something like Breath of the Wild. I haven't played something like Elden Ring, which has similar praise. You know, it's also an open world, but it gets similar praise for just being like this crazy game with 100 billion hours of content. How is it so big and so high quality the whole time, right? how I feel about Rebirth. Like it's one of the first experiences I've had like that where I'm playing the game and I'm like, holy crap, dude! Like I'm actually overwhelmed by everything, by just how this game is able to pull off being so big and being so crazy and being so like I don't know, so high quality in every single way. This feels like to me when we were saying, okay, we're going into the next gen and games are just going to get bigger and better, higher graphics, higher, I don't know, more missions to do, more things to do in every single video game. Never really felt like we got to that point, like from the jump to PS3 to PS4, right? Okay, like, sure, the graphics are definitely better for PS4 games, but are the games themselves getting better? Not really. They aren't getting bigger, they aren't, more expansive, and we're not seeing things that PS3 couldn't do. This game, to me, feels like the actual evolution of video games, and we're only just now getting to it, right? Um, because it's just insane. It doesn't quite feel like this could be done a couple years ago. A game this expansive. Um, so I don't know. Just between my playthrough, my 20-part playthrough, which again, pretty much equating to about 2 hours on each part, playing through the game, 40 hours in total of a main freaking story, and that's not everything, right? It's a lot of it, but it's not everything. Um, this music's amazing, by the way. I will gush over the music here in a second, I promise. But um, you go through like one little open world area, right? And you do want to explore. You do want to go through everything. And I'm not going to sit here and say that traveling the open world and doing all the little side missions is the most like engaging thing possible. Like I still feel like no matter what, the main game part of this game is definitely the most engaging part of the game, and the side quest stuff, though it's still pretty dang engaging because it doesn't just feel like side content to me. It feels like, sure, you'll walk around, you'll do things that are not as significant feeling as the main game, but then you'll, like, for example, if you go around and you activate all the towers and you go around and um, you get the I guess like the boss artifact things. I'm kind of forgetting off the top of my head, but you go into like the little temples where you collect almost like the materia for these boss characters, and then you can go and fight the bosses. And the boss fights feel like mainline fights. They feel like, oh my god, Cloud's going crazy, but they just feel like things that are worth going out of your way for, because like if you don't experience this certain thing, you're missing a chunk of the game that's legitimately very entertaining and cool and fun. Um, so I think like the whole game is pretty much um, just worth playing, which is crazy because you got like 40 hours. And again, unlike something like Mario and Luigi, um, where I'm not completely engaged the whole way through, this I'm like, I am super engaged with everything the whole way through. Something I could complain about actually with Mario and Luigi, for example, is that the side quest content in that game is really underwhelming. There's only like a couple good side quests, and the rest of them are like you go to point A to point B, get some dialogue, and then that's literally it. Like that sucks. Nothing, no side quest in this game is like that. Every side quest in this game, at the very least, will give you some laughs or give you some cool character moments between the cast, right? Like, at the very least, you get something of value out of every single little freaking part of this game, dude. I cannot gush about it enough. Um, and again, as I just alluded to, like, the characters in this game, the story, oh my God, it's all incredible. And it's all based off of a story that was already really, really good. But yeah, this game really does take it to a whole new level, just in terms of the presentation of it. Um, it's not only faithful to the original, but it's like taking the original and like really turning it into like this big spectacle with characters who feel real. They all have their little arcs that they go through throughout the game. They all get a spotlight, and they all feel very realistic with their intentions and their goals, and um, they're all very relatable, all funny. They're all a blast to have interact with each other. Um, I don't know, like every single one of them has something very like charming and admirable about them. With Cloud, it's his story, just being just like in the original, the unreliable narrator, but he's kind of just like a guy who's struggling through, the idea that he decided to be a soldier and basically be an experiment, and he's feeling the effects of these experiments and understanding the consequences of these experiments throughout the story. But he just wanted to, be a cool guy. At the end of the day, he's just a kid, and he just wanted to be cool, and he's struggling to find himself again, just like in the original game. And then again, not only is he struggling to find himself, but he's struggling to just control himself. He's struggling with everything, bro. He's struggling with every single freaking aspect of life, basically. Tifa, probably the most like normal character in the game, but she's still very endearing, all things considered. She's not my favorite character, but she's just like, she's just the nice girl who cares about everybody, right? And she has some cool moments in the game as well that are pretty lore heavy, like going into a live stream and stuff. And like the lore of this game, I don't know, man, explains itself in a very cool, entertaining way. Just in general with its world building, like the world building in this game is just so, 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 so good. It just carries itself through visuals and gameplay and all that crazy stuff. I can't, like, I don't want to say too much about any particular thing if you haven't played the game yet. It's just like, oh my god, I could gush about it all day. Um, yeah, Tifa's nice. Aerith, the wisecracker. She's obviously got more going on than meets the eye, but once again, also very caring, endearing character. Barret, uh, he's the tough guy, he's the leader, but he's gone through a lot, and you see that in the game. You see how he deals with it. You see how caring of a father he is, yada yada yada. Again, very endearing, very great character, but he has, his very fun moments too. Um, I need some more music from this game, please. I do not want it to go silent in here. I need the music. Cosmic Canyon theme. Let's do that. Yeah. Um, what else? What else? Red 13. He was an experiment. He's a talking dog. He has some really fun moments. One of my favorite moments in this game is when you're on the cruise ship, right? And that turns into a whole crazy thing that, the original never really had. Like this crazy section where you are doing like this card game tournament, and Red 13 is a part of it, and he dresses up as like a freaking soldier and does a freaking moonwalk to make an entrance and dances. And like this game does not take itself super seriously. It's a great time, but it takes itself seriously enough, right? It's just a very, very entertaining story throughout. I love it. Um, um, but yeah, Red 13, he has his own little story arc. That's really cool. He gets to learn about himself in this game. Yuffie, I don't love Yuffie, but Yuffie has her own little endearing things. I make fun of her a lot in my playthrough though because she is like a little bit annoying, but she's just the kid of the group, trying to be again a really cool person. Barret, no. See, isn't this game's just fun to look at with its cutscenes, and then even in battle, the battles are super flashy. Lots of crazy moves that you can do, lots of combinations of moves, lots of different equipment to collect, lots of different moves to unlock. There's like team up moves in this game. That's freaking awesome. There's a lot of cool visuals that come out of that. Ugh. Ugh. Like I said, when I say I can gush about this game all day, I can. But yeah, just know that every single character in this game has their own arcs, has their own redeeming qualities. I don't have to go through every single one. I just gave you like a general idea. You'll feel differently about every single one. They feel like living, breathing characters, and you'll care about every single one too, of course. Even the bad guys, you'll care about them a little bit, and you'll dislike them all the same. But they're all cool. They're all really sick. It just feels like a star-studded cast in a way of just nothing but memorable characters. Even the side characters are still memorable, right? Even just some NPC that you talk to who wants to play a card game, still super duper memorable. Like, it's insane how much charm there is in this game. It's absolutely insane. Gameplay in this is basically a remake but expanded upon, and that's all you can really ask for. Remake was already super solid. This game expands upon it just about every single way. There's more boss fights. There's boss fights pretty much like every hour of this game, basically, and I love it because I love boss fights in any video game, really. Just stuff that puts you up to a challenge like that is really fun, and yeah, it's definitely sick. Every single boss fight has, again, its own memorable moments about them and funny dialogue throughout fights and different weak points for different ones, yada yada yada. Like, I don't know. It's just so much to it. So much to it. Music. Let's talk about the music, because I really do. I don't want to sit here forever about the. Even though I could sit here forever and talk about the game. I'm not gonna do it. The music in this game is my favorite video game soundtrack. Again, maybe not fair to say that when, you know, this game takes a lot of its music from an old game that also had a really good soundtrack. But, to me, again, I think it's just objectively fair to say, yeah, it's one of the best ones. It's like saying Smash Ultimate has the best soundtrack, because it does. It legitimately does. It has music from all kinds of freaking different video games, so obviously it's got one of the best ones. So, yeah. But this is up there for me. It's like one of my favorite video game soundtracks ever. Every piece of music, you go from super relaxing, serene stuff like Cosmo Canyon here to super intense battle music, all orchestrated. Every now and then you'll get some electric guitars, but there's basically every freaking genre will get covered in this freaking game, bro. You get electronic music, you get dubstep, you get literally everything in this game. This game has everything. I cannot stress it enough. It has actually everything. It has cinematic moments. It has more quiet moments. It has, has moments where you can just take in scenery. It has moments where it's super intense. You don't know what's going on. Like, it has everything you could want. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, bro. It has gameplay where you can just meander around if you want. It has gameplay where you can just constantly throw the most intense stuff towards yourself if you want. Yeah, I don't know. The music reflects, the areas that you go to perfectly. right? When you're remixing beloved tracks from a beloved game and basically doing stuff with a beloved old game, remaking it, trying to be faithful and trying to expand upon it, it can be hard. It can be hard to pull that off. But this game does it perfectly. Like Cosmo Canyon went from being a super memorable track to being just like now just one of the best tracks in this game, which is saying something because there's a lot of amazing tracks. But on top of like stuff that was in the original game, it's got more original music as well. It treats, just like every area like it's its own crazy little thing. Um, and it's just awesome. Uh, like every boss has like their own unique music. Every area has its own unique music. Every little moment in the story, every cutscene has like its own music. It's not like a dull moment in this game, man. It's always doing something new for you. It's always trying to impress you. It's always trying to make you care about the freaking game that you're playing. And it's insane. It's insane. I would be remiss if I just didn't even talk about this moment in my playthrough, right? And this is super spoiler heavy, I don't care. But yeah, we're basically at the end of the game here, right? Just before you reach Aerith at the end. We all know, even if you haven't played Final Fantasy VII, you know that at the end of this game, right, that Aerith, well, not the end of Final Fantasy VII, like somewhere kind of in the middle, there's this big point in the game where Aerith dies, okay? And like just to show you how much I was invested in this game, okay? Let me get up to this part, all right? I might even play like the audio for this too. I don't know. Or I might be going in right now. Let me see. Yeah, I think I'm just going straight in. There's a point in this playthrough. I want to say probably after I get through all this stuff where I am legitimately struggling to actually move on to this final part of this game because I knew this is where the game was going to end, where Aerith dies, was obviously just like the most obvious point to end part two of this game, going into part three. Okay, but like, okay, yeah, I think right here, I'm literally just stopping. You said maybe I could play audio here. I'm like cringing so hard. I'm taking deep breaths. I haven't listened back to this. This is kind of funny. I don't want to. Can I see her over there? I don't think I can. Yeah, so I'm like legitimately struggling right now. I'm legitimately struggling to even like to move right here. I'm stopping. I'm probably like what I'm doing right now is I'm probably walking around the room and like with my hands in my or my my hands in my face like contemplating what I have to do here to actually get to this part of the game. I've been dreading this part of the game. I don't want to see this happen. And like that's how invested this game gets me in its characters, right? So if that doesn't tell the only other time something like this has ever happened to me while I'm like playing through a game where I feel like, oh my God, the characters really actually matter to me, right? The last time this has happened to me in a playthrough of a video game where I'm like actively choosing not to hurt the characters within the video game because I care about them, even though they're just fictional characters and I know everything's fine, but I don't want to do anything to hurt them, right? The last time I felt this way while playing a game is Undertale. So, and Undertale is like one of my favorite games because of that, because its story really made me actually care about the characters and how they were presented, how they were written really made me care. And the same thing happens here, but I think honestly on a much like grander scale, because this is a AAA game and Undertale is Undertale. Look at me stopping, bro, after I see her there. I'm like, no, no. Like, I just don't wanna. I don't want to, but I'm doing it so I can get to freaking crazy parts like this, just to show a little preview again. If you haven't played this game, this is the type of crap that's happening at the end of the game right here. You're like flying off the ground, fighting some eldritch creature made of bones and organs on a falling rock with crazy music playing in the background. It's crazy. This game is crazy. It's like a first time playthrough of this game is unforgettable. Non-playthrough or non-spoiler playthrough of this game is completely unforgettable. Completely unforgettable. Again, I really don't know how it gets much better than this until part 3 comes out. So to say that part 3 is like my most anticipated game ever is probably like an understatement because oh my god. I feel like I basically know, since this is already like my favorite game of all time, that game's gonna trump it and become my favorite game of all time. So it's just like, it's a reason to live, alright? That's basically what it is. So it's insane. Absolutely insane. I feel like I need some music on again. Oh, we need to play this music. Holy crap. Holy crap. Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. It really doesn't get much better than this. Did I play Gravity Circuit at this? Trying to think if that playthrough started. Oh yeah, no, Mario Wonder was last year. So really, yeah, I mean, the 3 games that I wanted to talk about coming into this then were Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which definitely by far was my favorite game of the year. And then I also really liked Shadow Generations and Mario Brothership, for sure. Some of the indie games I've been playing are really cool too. I think Anton Blast has a chance to probably like dethrone probably Brothership. I think Shadow Generations is a comfortable number 2 in my top 3, probably. Just because, again, it's a short game, but man, I love it. I love it. It's got the best Sonic level design ever. It's probably the best like controlling Sonic game too. That helps a lot. But yeah, Marvel Rivals. I guess technically Marvel Rivals came out last year, and um, I would say I actually probably would put Marvel Rivals in my top 3 over something like Brothership actually, because I've been playing it a lot. I got over 100 hours in that game for sure. Probably like 140 right now. I love Marvel Rivals. But it comes with all the caveats that every single multiplayer hero shooter is going to come with, which is basically just that the meta's constantly changing. They're adding new stuff all the time, and it's exciting, and it's fun, but I feel like this happens in every game, in every hero shooter like this. There's a point where, in between when new stuff comes out, there's a point where stuff starts getting a little annoying, right? And you start really feeling how the meta has developed, and you start getting annoyed with some things, and I think that's what's happening right now, which is kind of not good because this update that just came out from Marvel Rivals is only like a couple weeks old, and there's already some crazy crap happening in the game with mainly like competitive in the MMR system and how things are getting calculated. Like people don't want to play supports because they're not getting as much score for winning for whatever reason. And I just think the ranked in Marvel Rivals right now in general is kind of crazy, right? And how it's putting people in each tier is a little crazy. So that's probably like the least fun part about it. But as like an actual video game and how it plays, like honestly, as a hero shooter, it's definitely a very nice breath of fresh air, and it's super solid. Um, I would say that tanks can actually be fun to play in that game. DPS are obviously the most fun characters to play, though, for the most part. There's some boring ones in there here and there, right? Like, personally, the character I play as is Punisher, and he's like one of the most boring characters in that game. But I play a lot of different characters in Marvel Rivals. I'm one of those guys that flexes to whatever roles needed. Healers are probably like the least fun characters to play because even if they are like engaging, realistically, when you get like dove on in the game as a healer, it's crazy, and not everybody has the wherewithal to help you out when you're getting dove on, and I don't know. You have a lot of responsibility as a healer. Basically, as a healer, you're the one who basically determines if you win the game or not, just depending on how good you are. So it's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure in that way. But it's still fun. It's still a fun game. It doesn't really seem like I'm going to be posting too many Marvel Rival videos, even though I like playing the game a lot, because stuff like this. Yikes. Probably would just stream it at most at this point. I gotta get used to keyboard controls again, probably, if I'm gonna play it on stream, because I don't really want to stream on my PS5. The PS5 stream didn't end up well. So I'd feel like it'd be more reliable to stream it on my computer, but then my computer, I don't know, playing with mouse and keyboard is a little strange to me still. I remember when I used to play like TF2 all the time. I have literally like 1,000+ hours into that game. But yeah, I remember when I used to be comfortable with keyboard controls, and I haven't had like a good PC in so long that I've forgotten how to do that. I'm getting more used to it again, but still, man. Like if Marvel Rivals came to the Switch too, that would probably actually be the platform I focus on. But it's sad because, the PS5 version of it is where I have all my stuff on it right now, and like all my cosmetics, and ugh, it's just not fun. I wish I could play that version and record it for you guys, but that's probably not going to happen. But yeah, I think with the music ending, I feel like that's a good place to stop, right? Sephiroth's so cool, so cool. Um, It's a big stream. Big stream. Talked about a lot. I think I talked about basically everything I wanted to talk about, right? Um, we've been streaming for like 3 hours. Yeah, I'd say it's probably a good place to stop. So, hope you guys enjoyed it again. It's possible that I could probably make some mini videos out of what I've talked about today, and I don't know if you guys would enjoy or like that, but I'll see. I'll see how it goes, and if that's cool, then it's possible. Like I've already wanted to make like shorts out of streams for sure. Like if I'm playing a game, I have a fun little moment, I can make a short out of it. If I'm reacting to stuff, then obviously I want to post shorts of those reactions, post them on TikTok, post them on here, and get a decent amount of views, right? But yeah, I don't even know. Like I get like 1,000 something views on every single one of my shorts here that I've been posting, and doesn't even feel like it matters, right? It doesn't even feel like it's amounts to anything for the channel still. Doesn't make me any revenue. Like if I get seriously, if I get 1,000 views on a short on this platform, it gets me like 1 cent. I'm not even kidding. This freaking Octodad video short that I've done, right? Let me just look up, filter it by most views, right? Oh God, no, I can't do that apparently. That's dumb. But I could probably scroll down to it, get to the view count of it eventually here. As soon as I see like 300K or something, I'll know that's that. But I mean, I'm serious. I got a lot of views on that. Just this one short. There it is. 31,000. You want to know how much I made off of this? With 31,000 views. It's like $3. Like $3 off of this. I don't think I can see it on here, but I know there's a way I probably could if I look into it. I think it's through here, right? Monetization. I am showing this, right? Yeah. I don't know why it's not showing it there. It's a little weird. Analytics, maybe? There we go. Yeah. Revenue $2.87 off of a 31,000 view video. That sucks. So like I don't even know again if they really even amount to anything shorts, but I'll just do them for fun. I could probably make videos out of streams for fun. I just want to see. Again, eventually I'm gonna give myself more time to do streams and to make videos. I really do feel like if I wanted to take this seriously, just based off what I've learned over the years of doing this, that my best way to go is still just to make edited videos, but it's just so hard to justify putting a lot of time into an edited video just for it to get like 100 something views and that's it. Like it's very, very hard for me to justify doing that. I basically will only ever want to do it if I want to do it at this point. So otherwise I feel like streaming a lot more. And just playing games, sitting down playing games or yapping like this is probably just like the best way to go for me personally. Just to get the most out of whatever I do. So yeah. That's how I'm feeling. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm getting out of here. I'm gonna finally put some socks on. my feet are still cold. And I'm going to eat probably and enjoy the rest of my day. I hope